what? I don't like me sometimes either.
Episode 594.
Are you a boner guy?
Oh, I was a boner guy.
You know what? I miss penis.
What are you talking about?
I'm the one who should apologize.
Is it going to be absolutely riveting? Is it going to change your life by any stretch? Probably not, but it's going to be at least entertaining, okay?
By the way, for those people that are in the back, remember to shut the fuck up.
Boom! Hot take!
Hit it! I've been dying to say that.
Cuz-a-roo.
Slapperoonie.
It's showtime.
WATP.
WATP.
Hello, Rubbernecks and Cuzzaroos. Welcome to another episode of Who Are These Podcasts, the only show that is shocked the Kill Kevin live show in Atlantic City is falling apart. I'm your host, Carl. With me today, a man who often plays a smart nerd, and somehow he's great at it. It's Adam Busch. What's happening, Adam?
I'm so happy to be here, single-handedly destroying the Dabbleverse one show at a time.
We appreciate you, buddy. Our countdown music is very loud. I'm realizing that. I need to adjust that on my end, and apologies.
I think you were just showing off a little.
No, I forget that I need to bank these down a little bit when I'm putting those videos together. Adam, how's your level right now?
You tell me, how do I sound?
Okay, well, you sound better when you get real close, but for a second...
I'm going to turn it up right here. How's that?
Yeah, more Adam.
Yay.
Also, producer Chris is here.
Hey.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Please go to whoarethese.com to get our email address, voicemail number, link to our subreddit, link to our Discord server, link to our merchandise, link to our YouTube channel, and that link to Patreon and Supercast, featuring 2 exclusive bonus episodes every single month. And you can watch the show live when we record them on Wednesdays and Saturdays. You get the link to that when you are on Patreon or Supercast, or if you sign up, become a member on YouTube. You can always gift memberships on YouTube. We do appreciate that. Helps grow the community and get more people involved in Who Are These Podcasts. Hackamania is coming up, as you guys know, May 9th through the 11th. Hackamania.com, promo code WATP for 10% off your tickets. Also, we're coming up on episode 600 of Who Are These Podcasts.
Wow.
And I was thinking about this. What should we do for episode 600? I'm thinking a celebration of suck. Yes. Let's celebrate how much WATP has sucked for 599 straight episodes. So I'm thinking parody songs about WATP, maybe roast videos, send in whatever you have, goofing on me and the show. Keep it short. All right, we're not going to play something that goes on and on and on. But that would be great if everybody wants to participate in that. We'll have a fun episode 600 celebration and maybe review our own show. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
We haven't done that since episode 200, maybe?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. It was either 200 or 300, I know, last time we reviewed our own show. Also, we encourage our listeners to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and then shit over us in the comments section. That's always a lot of fun. Annie is here to read reviews later on. Today, we'll be breaking down Rob Saul listening to the new Kate Meanie tapes with Stuttering John from last night. Rob said he's going to stop by and visit us too, so maybe we'll get a chance to talk to him about it. Chad Zumock was caught in a lie again. Kill Kevin is falling apart. This is very distracting as I'm trying to prep for the show and get ready for it.
Also, we're going to review a podcast, right?
Hold on. Aaron Imholte doubles down on this lie about me talking about Slam Pizzas running his show for some reason. Opie's continuing to lash out at Jim and Anthony. We have another 2 minutes with Tom Myers game that we're going to get to later on. And of course, everyone is welcome to participate in the conversation via Super Chats or supertip.gg/WATP. But first, we'll be reviewing a show called Good For You, starring Whitney Cummings. This is a suggestion from our buddy Drew Lane. And we have all listened separately. We've not discussed it with each other beforehand. Now, she recently had a guest on her show. And her guest is actually her boyfriend. And boy, are they in love. You notice that at all?
A little.
They sure are smitten with each other. The reason why this is very interesting is because her boyfriend, Chris Cole, professional skateboarder, he actually is in a little bit of controversy right now. There's controversy surrounding him. And I'm going to start there. And then we're going to have some fun with how she's handling all of this. But I want to start with, so this guy's ex-wife, Christine Flanagan, has made some accusations about him, and they're not great. I'll just warn you right now. It's not fun stuff by any means. And so I want to start off with a video from, this is Robert. No, let me start off with from the WebZ channel. A guy from Escapism Skateboard Company is breaking this down, since this guy is a professional skateboarder.
Christine says, I realized the other day that I still have a ton of trauma from my former life. My name was taken from me. It wasn't a choice. When I told my ex my name, he replied, that will never work. We can't have the same name and I'm more famous, so I win. Plus, I've always wanted a red. That is literally what was said to me.
So I'm sorry, I didn't set that up great. What he's doing is he's reading a social media post from Whitney Cummings' current boyfriend's ex-wife, where she explains that he was not so great to her, even made her change her name to Red, even though she always went by Chrissy or Chris, but that's his name. So she wasn't allowed to do that.
I was instantly their property and treated subhuman. I hated it, but lost the battle and it stuck for far too long. He took my name away and then systematically proceeded to take away everything else from me thereafter. My education, my career, my control, until he one day nearly took my life. I kept that all quiet for a long time. The details are still hard to say out loud. It feels icky to bring up. My story makes me feel dirty and unwanted, and I'm working on that. I have been afraid to hurt people's feelings by correcting them, but didn't realize how much I was hurting myself. I have PTSD from the violence I dealt with, and that's an easy way to trigger it. I usually stay quiet and then go home and cry. I know no one means to do that to me, and I need help to stop it.
Okay. So that's what she posted on social media that kind of got this all started. They're like, whoa, what's going on? We didn't know about this. So then she goes on this show with this Robert Brink is the host of this. And she really spills the tea.
And he started yelling at me and pushed me on the ground and just started choking me. He pinned my legs down and he just started choking me and banging my head against the ground in the garage. And like part of me just couldn't understand what was happening. But then like it just felt more and more pressure on my neck. So I tried to grab his groin, but I couldn't, it just didn't work. I just had all of this like self-defense stuff going through my mind from probably from podcasts that I listened to. And that didn't work. So I tried to scratch at his eyes just instinctually. I cannot even remember why that was what I decided to do. But I was losing air, so I had to do something. And in my mind, I thought, if I could get DNA under my nails, at least someone would know what had happened.
Women are watching way too many true crime shows, if that's what you're thinking in this situation right here.
So he let go. And I didn't know this until recently, but he let go because my daughter had walked in and saw what was happening. And she said, Dad, stop. And he yelled at her to go back upstairs.
So this is pretty horrific, what she's describing here, as this professional skateboarder was like on the verge of choking her to death. So far, we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. So it turns out that their son, also came out on this matter.
As we previously reported, Flanagan exposed what happened to her and Cole, revealing her experience as an alleged battered wife during their marriage in the new Robert Brink Show podcast. After the interview was released, Cole's son Wyatt opened up about his mum's alleged physical and emotional abuse via his social media account. Wyatt shared some very personal details, claiming that his mum was a victim of domestic abuse. In his post, Wyatt said, "I've seen what my mum went through and she deserves to have the space to tell her story and how it's affected our family." He added, "She deserves support, so if you value me as a friend or her as a person, show her that you stand with her and who she worked to be."
Okay. Now, Too Lazy to Try has a great YouTube channel. I'm sure everyone's familiar with Too Lazy to Try. So he's been covering this recently, where Whitney Cummings seems to be defending her boyfriend and trying to get out in front of this and get her boyfriend on almost like a PR campaign, where he's going on other podcasts and she's being all lovey-dovey with him and trying to show his sensitive side. So I want to play a little bit of this Too Lazy to Try video, and then we'll get into the podcast where Whitney has her boyfriend as the guest on the show. But this is kind of to set up, like, when you watch the show, you wouldn't realize that this is what they're trying to mask and this is what they're trying to make seem like is not a problem and there's no issues here.
Chris. And instead of addressing it or waiting for everything to blow over, she's having to make a bunch of podcast appearances to try to restore his career and image. But obviously, that's not going too well. Like, I don't know if going on Bert Kreischer's cooking show is really going to do much for that. And you could tell Chris isn't into podcasting.
We haven't done Bert Kreischer's cooking show on this program yet. That might have to come up at some point.
Like, I doubt he wants to be doing this shit. It seems like somebody forced him to be there, which Whitney, she probably thinks this will help him move past the accusations, even though it usually just results in people in the comments talking about it, and I'm sure more people looking into it. And now to make things worse, recently Gifted Hater made a video going through all the accusations and all the evidence, which has around 200,000 views. I'll put a link to that in the description. But it looks really bad for Chris and Whitney. I mean, she's getting really desperate. Like, she's trying to do all this PR for him, and she's trying to handle it behind the scenes, and she's doing whatever she can to try to shut up Christine. But it just seems to be making things worse. Like, first she ran.
All right, so let me talk about some of these things that's going on behind the scenes she's trying to do, because this gets kind of wild when you find out that Whitney Cummings is up to this.
About it, but now Whitney is spamming comments on videos about it, and she claims it's traumatizing Chris and Christine's daughter, and if the videos aren't taken down, then she'll pretty much try to cause Christine to lose custody of her daughter. So Whitney's pretending like she's just worried about the kids, but
so she's on these videos that are talking about this and commenting and telling people they have to take it down and cease and desist and all this stuff. There's threats of legal action. She's talked to attorneys about it.
She's also basically threatening to take the daughter away from her mom. And Whitney keeps trying to reach out to their son, which is also really weird, especially because Whitney knows he wants nothing to do with her. Like, he's already corroborated his mom's accusations and said he saw his dad abuse her and supports her speaking out about it. But Whitney keeps trying to call him, probably to try to get him to turn on his mom or something. So she is just completely out of control here. And then Christine asked her to stop calling her kids. And Whitney said, okay, you can ask me that as much as you want. Like, basically, I'm going to continue doing it. It doesn't matter. And then she said what Christine is doing is child abuse.
I'm asking you not to call my children.
Okay, you can keep asking that as much as you want. Why not go to court and leave the children out of this? You know this is child abuse, right?
And even Whitney's own sister is against her and is supporting Christine. So it's just looking worse and worse for Whitney.
Okay, so that's the backdrop. I'm sorry we had to go through that. But that's going to set up what we're watching here on a recent episode. And it starts off there. Everyone's having a lot of fun.
Bap, bap, bap. Everyone.
I saw in the comments, bap, bap, bap is the sound that Chris makes when he's hitting his wife. Not funny.
Bap, bap, bap. Everyone, welcome Chris Cole to the program. Chris.
Hi.
How would you describe yourself? Give yourself. We don't do intros on this show famously, but if you want to do one for yourself.
What were you thinking?
I don't know. Legendary skateboarder.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I guess you can't really call yourself that.
Here's what.
What do you? Wait,
lies the problem.
Wait, I've never asked you this. When you go to the doctor, well, you never go to the doctor. If you were to go to the doctor,
what do I write?
What would you write under occupation?
Athlete. It took me a long time. For a very long time.
How long?
So right away we have this weird couple energy, like newly dating, have a combined Facebook presence, couple energy going on that's obnoxious. And what we're going to find out is that Whitney thinks it's so cool she's dating a skateboarder. Because Whitney's getting up there in age and she's trying to stay young and hip. And so now she's like, hey, my boyfriend's a skateboarder. Like that would be super cool. I'm thinking in 11th grade, probably. If your boyfriend's a really good skateboarder.
Hey, Mrs. Cummings.
So she's explaining, what do you say? What do you say your occupation is? And then, he says, well, I'd say I'm an athlete. And then they ask, oh, what sport? And she goes, oh, are they surprised when they find out you're a skateboarder?
It says athlete. They just immediately ask. It's instant.
Are they usually surprised?
Yeah, actually they are. They are. Oh, like there is.
Did you see Whitney's reaction right there? We're going to see this throughout this episode. Is that he says something completely innocuous and she goes, she's falling over in her chair. What? They are surprised.
I feel like we're out to dinner with them.
Ugh, I know.
No, you go, honey. You,
I'd
you tell the
rather
story.
be with a fighting couple because at least like that's a fun story to tell later.
So he starts choking her.
Surprised as a person on like an airplane next to you.
I'm
like,
still
you can do that
surprised.
for like Tony Hawk. That's usually how it goes.
I'm still surprised you're a professional skateboarder.
Just as surprised as you are.
You don't look like one.
So he's describing something completely different than she is.
Mm-hmm.
She says, you don't even look like a skateboarder, like whatever that means. That's a lanky white dude. It definitely looks like a skateboarder. But he's going, no, people are surprised because you don't meet like a professional skateboarder very often. It's kind of an interesting profession to have. There's only so many of them in the world. And she's going, oh my gosh, they must be surprised because they probably think you're like a carpenter, right? No, it's not what I'm describing right here. But she's so smitten with him. She's so excited to be showing him off right now. And with all of these like allegations swirling, he got dropped by his sponsors. He's in a world of hurt right now with all this shit going on. And they're trying to mask it with the, oh my gosh, isn't this so fun? I'm talking to my boyfriend. He's great.
Look how cute and innocent he is.
Yes. Now, what's maddening about this episode, and Adam, you watched this episode.
I did.
She is on Instagram the entire time. She decides, you know what I'll do? I'll go on Instagram Live and I'll film myself doing this podcast, and then I'll interact with the chat as we're doing the podcast. So she gets on Instagram here early.
I am here with the hacky sack legend, Chris.
Cole.
Oh, sorry. I need my mic up. Sorry. Look, when has anyone complained that they couldn't hear me? Or
Mic up, bruh.
Or that the mic wasn't close enough to my face? So we are recording a podcast, Chris Cole and I. He is the love of my life. And my
Love you more.
Love you. You don't love me more. You don't know that.
Yeah, I do.
I hate
I'm the best
shit.
at loving you.
I hate shit like that because you can't quantify it and you don't know you love me more, but you just get to say that.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you know you love me more? You're basically just going, hey, you don't love me enough.
It's a feel. No.
You sure?
No, it's just saying like, hey, I'm best at love. I just wanted to see your reaction.
Should we start the podcast later? Or you guys want to just flirt with each other for a little while and whisper sweet nothings to each other? Like, what kind of show is this? This is like amateur hour, what they're doing right here.
Well, we're also getting amazing insight into what it's like to date her. You don't know that, Carl. You don't know me. In fact, I'm starting to think this through. Maybe it's not a good idea.
There's a word that comes up, and that word is exhausting.
Yes.
And I have examples.
I was thinking insufferable, but I think you're right.
Insufferable would also be a term you could use. And what did you pick up on from this episode?
I'm sorry I'm being so quiet. I've so much to say. I don't even know where to begin with this thing. It's like, this is what I love about this world. This is something so rare that you get to see. I mean, one of the tropes of Whitney's comedy is that she can't pick the right partner and that she's always picking somebody who is cold and emotionally unavailable to her. Well, it's like a Saturday Night Live sketch where it dives into the true crime world. And now you have someone who, regardless of what you think about who said what and what's right and what's wrong, there's no way we can know what the truth is. All we know is the more this guy is on camera, the worse this gets and the worse his situation is. And they just keep putting him out there and putting him out there. And it's like I'm always talking about this guy who killed his own family named Chris Watts because he's so disaffected and he's so cold. And he goes out there and he gives this like, if anyone can find my family, please do. Like everything he did made people go, oh, this guy did it. And whether you're a fan of Whitney's show or not, I looked through 400 comments and read every single one on this episode. And the best comment I could find was, he looked guilty.
No, that was the best one.
That was the best one.
Oh, no.
Everything he does makes him seem monstrous. And this vibe he has where he thinks he can't be himself. So I guess he comes off like a teenager in a raunchy comedy from the 70s who's pretending to be gay so he can get invited to the girls' sleepover. And now he's there and he just has to keep acting, very unoffensive and very likable, but you don't buy it. but
no.
she does.
I love you more than you love me. No, come on. Oh,
Uh-huh.
you're so. I love you so much. You're so quirky.
And like he's in touch with his feelings, and the couple moments where the real him comes out in this is very frightening, and it does come out.
Yeah. We'll see examples of that. So they're explaining how he takes a long time to find a parking space at Trader Joe's. And again, this is another example of Whitney just loving everything he has to say. Everything's so funny.
I don't like to stalk for a space though, but I'll definitely pass spaces that just have bad
Perfect space.
vibe.
It's perfect spot
I
right
don't
up
really
front.
like the way I don't like where I am in like
It's right
in
there.
conjunction to
Literally
it. I
right
just
next
don't
to the
know.
cart thing. It's right perfect.
There's something bad about it. Like that's like on a Native American burial ground or something. Like I don't want to park there.
Hilarious.
I have a real hard time following what they're talking about. Even when I try and listen, I just can't. I can't follow it.
Yeah, because it's just two people passing the time.
Yes.
They're not saying anything to each other. It's so boring. So
She's not even laughing. She's just going,
right. It's not real. None of this is a real interaction between two people. So this is the question that comes in from Instagram. She starts reading questions that people are posting because, she's on Instagram Live while they're doing this.
Someone said, you look so genuinely in love. Is this real?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
When did you know you love me, babe?
I was trying to think of exactly when, and I don't.
The moment you saw me.
now.
It was.
No.
It wasn't that.
Okay.
I mean, the thing that when you see this, you have to look forward to is when they break up and the videos that Whitney's going to make where, her mascara's running and she's all upset. I didn't see any of the signs. He was such a sweetheart. I didn't know. To your point, Adam, it's like, this is what she's known for.
Yeah, and she gets red flags during this interview, and we watch her actively just, brush by them. The whole audience is screaming, "Run, run!" And she's so in love. She's so truly in love with this guy. She doesn't see any of it. Just the facts. Can I just name one little detail here? You talked about how he presumably made his ex change her name from Chris to Red because his name is Chris. His name is not Chris. His name is James. He changed it to Chris. So even if you didn't want to believe a detail like that, when you hear that, you're like, oh, he might have an issue with that. Everything she's doing to make him look better is making this all look worse and her like she's in danger.
Okay. So this was, I thought, when it started to get a little bit interesting to me, and I'm going to show some examples where Chris is obviously lying. And I don't know, like, this is the part where I think you're talking about, Adam, where he's like, he's playing a character that he's trying to play, but it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a question from Instagram.
Thanks, babe. Someone wrote, is Whitney exhausting, super fun, or both?
Never exhausting. Never exhausting.
Hmm.
Super duper fun.
Really?
Yeah. Not exhausting.
You're a bad liar. Oh, no, exhausting. Who would use a word like exhausting around Whitney Cummings? I don't even know why they would say that. What does exhausting even mean? I mean, what do you mean? Got real defensive right there.
And she knows she's exhausting. She knows that. She is self-aware. She knows. So she knows he's lying to her.
So fast forward to a little further in the show, and there's amazing questions coming from Instagram like, do you know what Whitney's favorite candy is? And here is proof that Whitney is exhausting.
Favorite candy? We did this the other day.
Oh boy.
What's my favorite candy? That's a hard one.
Mars bar. Forget. No, it's payday.
Do they even
It was a payday.
Do they still even make a Mars
It was
bar?
a payday.
It was, well, it's candy corn. You know, I'm a year-round candy corn person. The pumpkins, preferably. Pat knows. And I
She
have
didn't
them
even open the bag.
I have them here somewhere. And then there was Payday because we saw them at the store, but Kit Kat's my number one.
Yeah, but I said Kit Kat last time, and then you told me it was payday.
Depends on the circumstances.
Okay.
I mean, that look right there, just like, that's the definition of exhausting. Yeah, I said Kit Kat, and you told me it was payday. Now I'm saying payday, and you're saying it's Kit Kat. Yeah, because I just want you to be wrong. Like, okay.
Are we fighting?
fuck are we doing? I mean, normally these conversations happen after like half a liter of vodka or tequila or something. But
Yeah,
these two are
3 years of dating.
yes.
And he has no way to gauge because 20 minutes earlier, he says something like, your nails look nice, babe. And she's like, really? Are you serious? I love you, babe. That is so sweet. It's like, how is he supposed to know that was going to land, but I love you more was unacceptable? It's almost impossible.
Oh, so here's another thing where this is amateur hour. If you told me, if I didn't know who Whitney Cummings was, and you said, yeah, here's a show that gets like 17 views on YouTube, Carl, check it out, see if you want to review it.
Everyone agrees. Leonard is here. Wrote, Mars bar was an offensive answer.
Yeah. You know what? That's fair.
That was tough.
Did Whitney forget how to be an interesting person, comic?
Interesting, you say.
Just, oh my God, people are saying that Mars bars was offensive. Here's one more example of her being just completely exhausting.
You are so petty. Other way. Like, you know,
Insane.
it doesn't matter.
Did
that matter?
I do love.
Did that matter?
When it, huh?
Did that?
Huh?
When he doesn't want to answer something because you won't lie, you'll just go, huh? What's that? What did that matter? Whether it was Apple or Spotify, or did you just need a little win? You did say one time.
Oh,
you did.
I wanted you to be right.
I love when you say that. Oh, babe, I love when you admit that you don't know something. There was one time that we were arguing about something, and you were like, "Just let me have this one. I need one today."
I need this so badly.
They're already arguing.
Well, I mean, that's very passive aggressively. And that is the definition of someone being exhausting. If you have to say, can you just fucking agree with one thing I said today? I've never had to say that to my wife. If I did, we wouldn't be married. I don't want to deal with that shit all day long.
I picture a first date with Whitney and I would tap out. I'd be like, I don't care how beautiful you used to be. Bye.
I don't care how much money you have in the bank from that sitcom that you were famous for 10 years ago.
Worth it. It is not worth it.
Yeah, see, either way, it sucks because if it's her, just needing it, then it comes off bad. But if it's him being like, look, I need to win something today or I can't be happy. Can you just lie to me and tell me I'm winning? That's equally as bad. In a way, they deserve each other. I just feel like she might not deserve this as badly.
Well, yeah, we're going to find out. Adam, you have a couple of clips on here. Do you want to look at one of those?
Sure, go ahead. Because they all, I feel like, are very revealing.
Do you want to start with the kind of the giveaway on this?
Go
what
for
the
it.
Relationship's really like. This is interesting.
Sometimes I don't take Prozac and I interrupt and I ramble and I talk and I can't. Sometimes I can't stop talking. It is a tick. I'm on Prozac. I'm doing the best that I can. I do have Tourette's. If I feel like a point needs to be made and it's not being made and I'm not getting some kind of affirmation, but you're probably just like, I get it, move on. But I'm like, I don't think
totally.
And I'm like, I don't think you're hearing me. So I'll say it a bunch of different ways. Because you'll just be like that. And I'll be like, he's not hearing me.
Yeah.
And then one time he just went, shut up.
I said it really with trepidation.
It was
I was
so
like,
sweet.
I maybe just shut up.
And I was like, thank you so much. I just
was
needed
like,
someone to
I
tell.
don't know how to get her stopped.
Like, please,
I tried other ways.
Because
said
I
other
physically
things.
can't stop. And I need you to just tell me to shut up.
Yeah.
So, Adam.
Sorry, it's yeah. I mean, this is the officer comes to the house.
Yeah.
And he's like, ma'am, I need to ask you some questions. Does he ever hit you? Oh, well, I mean, it was the back of his hand, but it was so soft. He has such soft hands. Does he tell you to shut up? I mean, he said it, but I need it. I like it. I want it
too much.
I
and
do.
Someone needs
I'd
to
be
put me in my
lost
place.
without him.
Yes.
The fact that she doesn't see any of this going on, the fact that there is, without a doubt, a believe all women sticker somewhere on that set, and she's not putting this together. The fact that as a comedian, she's not putting together that she wouldn't watch this exchange and enjoy it. What she did on CNN on New Year's Eve was amazing.
I
There's
have that
shit
clip.
with
Yeah.
her and Bobby Lee getting into it. She knows what's funny and what's interesting, but she's so in love that she's going to let this guy beat her, tell her to shut up, scare her in the middle of the night and say, thank you. Can I have another? And then broadcast it to help him.
There's I didn't mention this before, but in that interview that we were doing with his ex-wife, she goes on to say, so after that incident where the daughter saw this was happening, he was choking her out, And the police came, and he said that she attacked him, and she got arrested. The ex-wife got arrested, and he was fine with just like being like, oh, I don't want to get arrested, so I'll just let her get arrested instead. So, and she didn't know like what to do at that point. She's just like, well, I was defending myself. And you see these bruises and shit like that. They're like, well, he says that you did this, so.
And just so we're clear with what this ex is up against, this isn't just like a comic and a skateboarder. She is in a rarefied air of television producers who's done things that even KB and Howard Stern haven't done. She didn't just get a pilot made. She had a show made. Then she had a hit show that ran on the air for like 6-7 seasons. Like when you do that, you've won. Her kids don't have to worry about college. The rest of her life is all fine. It puts you in this very special spot. And this guy isn't just a pro skateboarder. He's like one of 2 or 3 household names that you know when you skateboard. He is a legend who has diehard fans, who he's created tricks and has videos and sponsorships who've all left him recently, by the way. But just, it's very hard to fuck with. Anybody trying to come up against these two people has a wall of industry to fight through. So it makes it very hard to not just believe the ex.
All right. As I mentioned before, Whitney is distracted by Instagram. She's reading these comments as they're doing the show. I don't know why she thinks this is a good format, but she's just having so much fun with her boyfriend. And I should point out, someone in the chat earlier asked if this was her baby's daddy. They started dating when she was 7 months pregnant. That's when he started dating her, which is weird, but whatever. You know, they're in love. I don't want to shit on that.
Yeah, everybody has their own thing. I don't want to,
Sure. Yeah, of course. But this comment she reads stops her in her tracks, and she loses track of what's going on the show because she can't wait to read this question.
That's right.
Also, it's nice to post. Well, it's nice to post falls because then you get to like show people like, hey, we fall too.
So you are going to pick at your skin on the podcast.
No, what I'm doing is I'm itching a tattoo that's raised.
I literally asked him to stop itching and picking at his skin for an hour. That's all I asked.
She didn't ask nicely.
Okay, this is a great question. It's Mac. White Christmas lights or colored?
That was what she had to stop the conversation about. She's like, whoa. This is like Bert Kreischer level ADD going on. You're like, okay, that's not an interesting question. What candy you like? Is that candy corn's not interesting? Colored Christmas lights are not interesting. These people need a producer who will stand up to them.
And she's resorting to like a real Stuttering John level of comedy where like, if I just keep laughing and smiling for no reason, everybody will assume this is fun and we're having a good time, right? Aren't we? It
seems like, I try to make light of it when Chris is over there writing notes during the show, and it'll seem like he's writing things down like, oh, here's a good idea for a future episode. No, it's like, this is what Carl fucked up today, and I'm going to let him know about it after the show. And this guy comes up at me after the show, throws him against the wall and says, you're going to do this shit again, asshole? Never again. And it gets me into shape.
And then Carl's kid walks in and sees everything.
He started it. Like, oh, no, I swear. I did.
Carl says thank you because it's what Carl needs.
It is what I need. I did deserve it. I did a bad show that day.
Secret to our success.
All right. So I love the Hollywood types. And Adam, you might be one of these types of people. So I'm interested in your take on this. It's a lot of doing the work. I hear this all the time. I'm constantly, especially on Drew Lane's show, we're constantly talking about these mental health podcasts and these self-help podcasts. And it's all about doing the work. And so a question comes in from Instagram.
Do you feel like you had to do a lot of self-work to be ready, quote, for each other?
Oh, we both did so much work. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's cool to meet somebody who also did work.
But if I may, I think that we both did a lot of work to be the people that like deserve the other person and to be able to like communicate with each other. But I also think I thought I needed a lot more work than I did.
Right.
Okay. So they both done a ton of work. He stopped strangling his partner.
Good on him.
Presumably.
Yep. And she stopped wearing makeup. So they're both doing a lot of work here to make this happen.
It was exhausting, but we got it done.
I just think this is so interesting, knowing the context of this that they'll never talk about. It's all anyone's talking about in the comments, as you saw. It's the most interesting thing about this guy right now is what's going on with his family. And for some reason, Whitney says things that she should know better.
Okay. The thing I love about you, and here's the thing about guys in general that I'm learning with you, is that when they have a disappointing answer or say they don't know something like your anniversary or something they should know, if they say they don't know it, that means at least you can trust them all the time, because this is the time you should lie and you're not.
Wow.
I mean, that's a crazy thing to say right there. It's like, the one thing I know about my boyfriend here is that he's not lying to me. His family's all lying about stuff. Every other person's lying, but he's not.
And it's also just a crazy blind defense and support of whatever he says. Here's why him not knowing our anniversary is a good thing.
You're seeing some red flags, Adam. I think you're not predicting great things for the
When he
future.
changed his name from James to Chris, I just got to know what goes on in your head where you're like, that's so much better than this other name. It's just,
it's a cool name.
it's not a bad name. I mean, come on. All right. So you had a couple other clips on here. These two kind of fit together. Do you want to set it up at all?
Yeah, it's great because there's like, what was that, Billy on the Street thing where he would run up to you and, you know, startle you so you're so shocked you don't know what's happening. And then he says, like, name a woman. And you can't do it.
Yeah.
Well, this guy couldn't be in a more comfortable setting with his girlfriend that he's been sitting in for the last couple hours. And she says, hey, name me a female comic that's not me. And let's just play it and see what happens.
And on a real tough one.
A zinger?
Who was Chris's favorite female comedian before Whitney?
It was always you, babe.
You did look me in the eye. That was weird. You normally look down when you're in a panic.
Yeah, because I wasn't panicking.
You just can't name any other ones.
I can name tons of other ones.
Really?
Yeah, bum you right out.
Name them.
Name them.
Name them.
Name
Name them.
Mm-hmm.
Name them.
Stalling, buying time.
Anywho.
You mean now?
Peterman.
Who else?
That was a joke. I can do more.
It's a good joke.
I'm not gonna, but I can.
Why not?
Not gonna.
Elaine Boozler.
Name them, babe.
Oh,
It's so bad. Just any other female. You don't have to like the person. Just knowing they exist is all it's going to take here. Just name anyone.
He hasn't met one of her friends. She can't think of one. He hasn't been to see her. This is very telling.
Well, what's telling about it is that earlier on the program, they get a question about who your favorite skateboarders to skateboard with. And for some reason, he knows this.
Okay.
The
Name them. Name them.
Okay.
Name them.
P-Rod,
Name them.
Dane, Dunya, Adam, Derm, Ruben.
Yeah, so those just fly right off the tongue. But when it's like, name a female comic, any female comic, you can just throw in a first name, and there's a good chance there's a female comic at one point.
Kate Meanie?
You fell.
Why didn't he do his hilarious I know I just don't want to tell you bit there?
Right. For some reason, he was able to pull that off.
At some point, someone had to, because, you know, there's a lot of other people in that room that we can't see, and we're only getting these two camera angles. I promise someone mouthed to him, Margaret Cho. Because out of nowhere, he says, Margaret Chu.
I mean, that's how you pronounce it if you're Korean. People don't know that. But
I mean,
when you're on the inside.
Name a woman. I mean, I could. I just don't want to.
It's like the Final Jeopardy on SNL. It's like, write down a number, any number, and you will win.
Yeah. And
the show has reached a new low.
Yes.
Yeah. She doesn't realize this isn't going well. 400 comments. She doesn't realize this isn't going well. She's presumably watched it. She has him on the next episode.
Yes.
And she says to start that episode, this went over so well last week. We had to bring you back because you're so beloved. What the fuck?
She's really trying to, I'll use the word, gaslight her audience because no one's buying it, as you can see in the comment section.
Except for the one person who asked about the Christmas lights.
That was a good question. All right. We do have some people who are chatting with us. We appreciate your support on the show. So I want to get caught up with that before we go into Opie Radio.
Sell out Wednesdays are back. Carl, not making any money on his Patreon. Even less than my cameo. Skull.
I will let you borrow the Beggy Monster just this one time. After this, it's a 10% fee.
Ooh. Whoa. What am I, Canadian? 10%. That's crazy. Hellraiser, $5 says, thank you, Reverend Bob Levy, for gifting us the dog fluffing pillhead. Did anyone else get a contact buzz from his stream last night? Good evening, Adam.
Good evening, Hellraiser.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to talk about Rob Saul. I got some interesting cuts from that episode they did take down off the internet.
Yes.
Not last night, he didn't. He passed out. This morning he got up
He
and
looked
did
like
it.
he was having a good time.
He sure was. Stewie Felt says, who knew a Kill Tony ripoff planned by Chad Zumock and relying on Kevin Brennan would fail? I had a feeling about it. Let's all see Rob Saul not off. We'll be watching that later, whether he's on here or not. Hey, it's healthy Nick Rekieta. He does have a resemblance to Nick Rekieta.
Just a little bit.
Maybe that's why she was like, you don't look like a skateboarder. You look like a law tuber. Maybe that's what she was thinking. They look like a couple that make pallet tables. Not sure what that means, Apeshit Media, but I'll take your word for it. Rebel Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. When does this guy turn to her and say, you should have been a lawyer? Oh. Yes. That is in Stuttering John's world, the next step. Let's talk about Opie's been going nuts lately, and he's getting a lot of attention for it, which I give him credit for. He needs the attention, but he's really lashing out, and it has not ended.
Ba, 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 ba.
Actually, where I want to start with this, Dang Lizard posted this on X, and it's pretty fantastic. Opie might be turning into our friend Aaron Imholte from, of course, the Steel Toe Morning Show.
You seeing a throuple?
Nope. That's not it.
Paul super sticker. My God, this Paul $1.99 every day. You might think to yourself, it's only $1.99 up. No, it starts adding up. If every single person gave me $1.99, oh my God, I'd be 100 air. I would make $100. Paul super sticker.
Wouldn't that be great if like every person just chipped in? Like if you chipped in and you chipped in and Dwyer Christian and Allie Drew and Reverend Billy and, you know, everyone just kind of chip in $2. We can make this happen.
Oh my God.
Is there anything else we can do for you, Opie, while we're here?
All right. So let's get into the latest. Apparently, Anthony Cumia is the worst of the worst. He never brings it up, but he finally broke his silence here. And this is a very recent video that he put out on his channel.
A brilliant response by you to Luis Gomez asking about O&A reunion. Thank you, Sean. Look, I think Anthony is, no joke, he's soulless. I think he's a soulless, angry, racist. I really believe that. And that's up to you to decide. I don't care, but that's what I believe. But Anthony is soulless because he spent, he spent pretty much the whole time we were doing the Opie and Anthony show trashing me behind the scenes, trashing me to everybody, trashing me to his girlfriends. He has girlfriends that hate my guts that I've never met.
All right. Couple of insights on this. First off, Anthony's been talking about Opie a lot lately because Opie started up this new channel and he's putting out all this content and doing all this crazy stuff. When you watch Anthony talk about Opie, he's laughing, he's making jokes. He's like, wait, pause it there. I'll back it up. When Opie's talking about Anthony, he's a soulless racist who is the worst person I've ever met in my entire life. It's like, all right, you're just trying to convince people to hate Anthony. Like, this is making you look bad.
Yeah. Going back to the entire time they were doing the show together.
Right. The entire time he was talking behind his back. The fact that Anthony has girlfriends that Opie hasn't met that don't like him is because Anthony's been like, oh my gosh, I should tell you what happened when I was working with this guy. He would do this thing. He would do that thing. So they're just like, oh, what an asshole. It's like, yeah, if I've had experiences with coworkers that didn't go well, I might talk to a loved one about it and they'd get a sense of what the problem was.
And if you've never met them, why do you give a fuck?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good point.
There's a similar strain here, which is even with Whitney too. They both want to believe that they don't get to be held responsible for their podcasts. He thinks Opie, he gets to have these opinions and these thoughts, and this podcast does not reflect them. I don't know if what you're saying about Anthony is true. All I know is that Anthony cares enough to buy a microphone so I can fucking hear him. He cares enough to not have his laptop be reflected in the window behind so that it's coming back at the audience and we can see the flash of your screen. And I know that he cares enough to not have his ring light hanging like a suggested halo above his head, ruining any even minuscule show prep and quality you're claiming to have. I know he at least cares about his audience that much. So why are you giving us this?
And that is the issue with Opie, is that he's always not trying. He wants to succeed, but he doesn't want to ever show that he's trying. Because he even said it. We played the clip recently. He's like, do I wish I had more viewers and wish I was doing better on these platforms? Yeah, I do. It's like, okay, but don't just wish for it. Make some changes. Get some real lights in that room. Set it up so that you're actually sitting in front of the camera like a normal person would be sitting, where there's very little headspace above you. All these like little things that everyone else can pull off. Every other person successful at this can pull these things off, and Opie can't be bothered with it. So then the question of the O&A reunion. Now, this is because on Legion of Skanks, Jim and Anthony were on there, and Louis J. Gomez, who does Skank Fest every year in Vegas, Blind Mike always goes. We should probably go to it this year. Louis always reaches out to Opie and say, hey, why don't we do an Opie and Anthony reunion at Skankfest? Because that would be a really cool thing. Get a lot of people to come out.
I heard he was asked about a Opie and Anthony reunion. He said, yeah, I would do it. And he said, who cares if we don't like each other? He would do it for the money. He's soulless. Why the hell would I enter into that? To go for a money grab? No! But I have my dignity.
Okay. If you say so.
I'd like to see it.
Now, Opie is doing the same thing that we see Chad do, that we see Aaron do, where, I don't know, someone tells them something happened or what's going on, but they just make shit up. So you just heard Opie say, yeah, Anthony said that he would do an Opie and Anthony reunion just for the money grab involved. So I did a thing. I pulled the clip. This is the discussion that they're referring to on Legion of Skanks from that last weekend.
Who's mad at you?
I ask Opie every year if we can get an Opie and Anthony reunion at Skankfest, and he has no interest.
No, but every year he goes, ask again next year.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And by the way, that's a douche thing to do because he wants the attention. I want you to want me. Ask again next year instead of just like, it's never going to happen. Which is what Opie is saying on his show. But then when he's asked, ask again next year. Okay, well, we'll just keep kicking this can down the road. Fine.
It allows him to believe that this lack of audience is his choice. Because there's an instance where he could, but he's choosing not to. Just like
because of his dignity, man.
Yep. I'm in control, man.
Yeah.
But if Opie said yes, you would do it.
I don't know if I would do it. Like, I love interacting with Anthony. Like, I have fun with Anthony. Like, I don't care about.
This is also the thing I said when this was.
Okay, so far you've heard Jim doesn't want to do it, and Anthony agreed with him. All right, Anthony must later on say that. Well, if the money's right, we'll do it.
Discussed a couple times now. There was probably a time right after it, and where some of the steam went down, and you guys could have gotten together and maybe put together something that was going to be something. The idea of just let's get the three of you guys in the room to broadcast again. how could that? What's that going to be? It's not going to be good out of the gates. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's all the magic's happening, guys. Like,
no one wants to see shock jocks in their 60s.
Put this wiffle ball bat in your pussy.
A lot of shit.
No, that they'd still want to see.
You ever get these kids in your lawn? Sucks.
Okay. So they're all saying this is not a good idea to do an Opie and Anthony reunion. That ship has sailed. We don't need to do that. But Opie can go on his show and be like, yeah, Anthony's soulless. He wants to do a reunion just for a big payday. It's like, we just made that up. That's not true at all. And normally no one watches Opie, and so no one calls about it. He might have to actually start paying attention and making sure what he's saying
what I was
going to
ask.
lies.
Does he actually think there was a Kumia fan that was watching his show that heard him say that and is now changing his mind about that? Oh, I didn't realize that. Good point, Opie. Thank you.
Well, this is what Opie's always trying to do. He's always trying to get people to turn on Anthony. He thinks that Anthony controls people's thoughts about him. I mean, he's come out and said that. We've played the clips recently where Opie will go, oh, is that what Anthony is saying? Is that what Anthony's telling you to think about me? It's just like, no, we're just watching you and we think you suck.
Yeah, John does the same thing. They refuse to believe that anybody formed their own opinion and decided not to like this person. Anyone that doesn't like John was turned by Artie or who was then turned by Anthony. It's never his own actions. Opie, it's your actions. It's this actual podcast you're doing right now is why people don't like you.
But and I just want to say,
yeah.
Ant in this clip seems like a jolly old soul, and Opie comes off as soulless, completely soulless, and I don't even believe in souls.
I just watched Jim's new podcast episode with Anthony on. I watched that today, and it's hilarious. Yeah. They take all these callers. They're having a good time. They don't bring up Opie at all. They do an hour-long show.
Why would you have to?
They don't. They're not worried about it. They are two funny guys who were on the radio together for a long time, and still having all this fun, like even on Legion's Cakes, you see it right there. And nobody's going, Anthony's such a piece of shit. He's such a hate-ridden, hateful man. You're just like, play a clip.
I need a little bit more to be convinced. I'm sorry.
All right. So this is Opie talking about how he's just the better person.
He would do an Opie and Anthony reunion knowing what he has done to me? No, there's not enough money in the world to do it. So no. I appreciate you liked my response, Sean. Thank you. That means you're an honest man.
No, it doesn't mean
it doesn't mean that.
It definitely does not. Your response is shitty. Ask me again next year. You say that every year.
Yeah, it's called breadcrumbing.
Okay. So when Opie's not going after Anthony, he's going after Jim Norton. And so he uses the super chats, just like he was using a free chat here. He uses the super chats to bring up the subject so that he can go hard at these guys.
Your drunk uncle giving me $20. Why has Jimmy never mentioned Jim and Sam on the other podcast he goes on? Sam saved Jimmy's career. FLOS, that show stinks. Big J did an Uncle Paul ripoff and it didn't land. Why doesn't Jimmy do Uncle Paul anymore? Because he knows finally that it was hurting his career. The stupid company was telling him, this is hurting the show and your career.
Opie's so passionate about Jim's career all of a sudden. Do you like the visual here where he's covered up by the super chat? There's something about this that shows you what Opie really thinks about his worth.
Yeah, he's drowning.
He's drowning. He can barely get his mouth up above the waterline here.
And it really is drowning because why would this podcast be under the comedy section?
I don't know. You're not having fun?
It's a bitter old man ranting about his enemies.
Yes.
But both Opie and John think they're doing comedy podcasts because they kind of contort their voices a little bit. I guess just put it under anger. Put it under politics.
Wait, is anger a category? Because we got to update our show.
No shit.
Well, he would do well there, I think, because people would actually get what they're expecting. Especially John, too, when he comes out, good morning, everybody. Oh, my God.
I tuned in. It was angry, but not really that angry.
I need it to be a little angrier next time.
Mm-hmm.
So he's talking about this Uncle Paul character. Now, if you're familiar with Opie and Anthony back in the day, you remember.
Who's that old guy over there? Uncle Paul, with the creepy old guy stare. Uncle Paul, now he's coming over here, slowly limping down the hall. It's too late now, 'cause here comes Uncle Paul.
Let me show you how to make a big boy love you.
Now, Uncle Paul is this ridiculous character Jim played that was an old pedophile who was constantly talking about trying to take advantage of young children. Now, the reason why he did this is because it was hilarious and everyone thought it was very funny. No one thought that he was trying to encourage people to practice pedophilia. No one thought that he was, just doing this because secretly he enjoyed doing it so he could slip into this character and
Who's
get
that
his
character
jollies from it.
From the Who's, Tommy, Uncle Albert, what is it?
Oh, I don't know.
It's a similar crazy uncle you don't want to be alone with. Yeah.
Right. So he even played this character on Inside Amy Schumer on Comedy Central. He even came out and played this character. And he was always great on Opie. Everyone loved when Uncle Paul would come out. I mean, they made songs about him and shit like that. But then Opie had children and stopped liking the character. And I think what happened is, because I've heard from other people, that Opie's in-laws in Philadelphia would listen to the show and they wouldn't appreciate this kind of humor and stuff. Like, my daughter married this shock jock and they're laughing about pedophilia or they're talking about black people or, whatever it was. And that's why Opie hated all this stuff, is because he had to answer for it to the in-laws. I think the reason why Jim isn't doing Uncle Paul is because Jim's not on a radio show anymore. I don't know that it would be appropriate for him to just go into, Uncle Paul never had his own show. It was not like Chip Chipperson or Doug Bell or something like that. But Opie acts like he knows all the answers. He's in their heads. He understands why everyone's doing what they're doing, including this take.
Why doesn't Jimmy mention Jim and Sam on the other podcast? Because Jimmy doesn't give a crap about anybody but himself. He's done with Sam.
Well, he did leave that show, and he talked about this. They were under contract negotiations. He was looking for more money, and then they came back and said, you know what, actually, we're just going to part ways. So it was the decision of the management at SiriusXM to let Jim go. And why would he promote the show now? He's not on it anymore. There is no Jim and Sam show. And how would Opie know whether he's promoting it or not when he's on other podcasts? He's just taking your drunk uncle's word for it. I don't know that I would trust your drunk uncle to have all of the facts on this kind of thing.
How about, Opie, when you write a bit or you write multiple comedy specials and then retire those specials and then create new material, you can decide which bits other people should and shouldn't be doing. Why don't you try that and then see how you feel about it?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's crazy that Opie knows Jim so well. He's just like, well, he's a selfish prick. He's just in it for himself. And that's why he does this thing that he does. Just like, yeah, but Jim also is like friends with all the people he was friends with back when you were in the clique. All the comedians, everyone. Like, Jim's gotten involved in like Louis C.K.'s projects. He was on Jay Leno's show for a long time. He's done multiple comedy specials. Ozzy Osbourne has been on his comedy. Like he makes friends and people like Jim. And Opie has none of that. But he likes to be like, yeah, and everyone knows he's selfish. And he tells this story from over 20 years ago to illustrate this point.
All the comedians knew who Jimmy really was, and they would make fun of him. Like when me and Anthony were thrown off the air in 2002, we couldn't do anything for Jim anymore, and he sucked right up to Colin Quinn, and we were all at a roast. And in the old days, when we were all going out in public for public appearances and stuff, it was me and Anthony would sit kind of together, and Jimmy would be right there. And then when we were off the air, all of a sudden we went to one of these roasts. I forget which one. And Jimmy was sucking up to Colin Quinn. And one of the comedians, it might have been Patrice, pointed out the whole thing and roasted me and Anthony, basically saying, oh, look, Opie and Anthony can't do anything for Jim anymore. So look where he's sitting. That's all you need to know right there.
Opie remembers a roast joke from 23 years ago and goes, that's what the guy really thought about him too. He said it during a roast to his friend who's also a comedian who was at the show.
He didn't remember which roast it was. But
Nope.
He remembered the joke.
He remembers that they called Jim an opportunist. And I'll just point out what's much more likely going on in this scenario is that when he was doing a show every day with Opie and Anthony, they were probably palling around a lot more. And then they got fired and were off the radio for 2 years. And so he's at the Comedy Cellar every night. And so he's palling around with Colin Quinn and his other comics. Like, those are his coworkers now.
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense that they would be sitting together at an event or something like that. It's just kind of how human nature works.
I think whenever Opie detects that someone around him is more likable than him, which is anybody could be around him.
Yes.
That's what happens. He reacts this way and disguises it as something else. So he's sucking up.
But that was the example he had to come up with. He's just like, yeah, he's an opportunist. He's selfish. And then the example he came up with was from 23 years ago in a time when Opie and Anthony weren't on the radio.
Carl, what I think what people are talking about when they say do the work is not necessarily like, therapy or medication or things. I think it's just simple things like, have you processed the divorce? Or in these cases of John and Opie, you lost your dream gig and you crashed really, really hard and you have to rebuild. Have you ever dealt with that or processed that? And the answer for Opie and for John is clearly no. That's why they're living in the past. That's why the past is so present for them. Like, Jim says something on the third or fourth show, steady gig he's had since then, and you're coming back at him with something from 20 years ago that he doesn't even remember happening. And to you, this defines him. And you think it's going to define him to us too. No, because we've all moved on. Anthony has clearly moved on. You're still in the past and haven't processed any of this stuff. And until you do, none of this is going to work. None of it will.
What's amazing is if you go back to the first few times we reviewed Opie Radio podcast, he had a very different demeanor at that time. And I think what you're describing is what he went through, because he went 8 months between getting fired and starting a podcast. 8 months, no one heard from Opie. We didn't know what was going on. And then he comes back and he goes, guys, I've been working on myself. I've been seeing this guy and I'm realizing the issues that I caused that led to all of this. And I was like, wow, this is great. We've never heard anything like this. And that went away so quickly. And now it's completely flipped to 180 to the point where he's blaming everyone else. Not only is he blaming everyone else, he's also taking credit for their success. Anthony learned how to make fun of me because I taught him Jocktober. And the reason why our show worked is because I was the mastermind who decided to get an HVAC guy and a comedian and have that be the core of this team on the radio. It's just like, holy shit. You're blaming everyone and taking all the credit for any success that you had at the same time. You're right. He needs to do some self-reflection.
Yeah, some people just go to one, AA session or whatever, the meeting, and they hear the buzzwords and they go, okay, I got it. And then they just start using those buzzwords when they talk to people. And until you actually meet a fellow alcoholic who's like, oh, who's your sponsor? How often do you talk to your sponsor? Do you realize, oh, yeah, I'm not doing any of that work at all. I'm just throwing these words around to try and fool
12
people.
steps is great, but 3 steps is good.
It's much
right?
quicker. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got
and
be
easier.
Something. All right, we have, I want to get into some Chad stuff and Steel Toe and, of course, the Rob Saul thing. But first, I want to thank you folks for participating in the show, including Stewie Felt. $5 says, Norton can deny all he wants, but Opie is the inspiration for Chip Chipperson. I think not at first. I think it evolved into that. Jim has definitely made references to the fact that Chip Chipperson and Opie are very similar. Rumple Trenchco, $5 says, Opie does have dignity. You just can't see it because the ring light is blinding. No, I don't think that's what's masking it, but I like that. Vito's, what is that? It's too many vowels in a row. Vito's Cradle in Australia. What the hell is wrong with Opie's mouth? It looks permanently stained with red wine. He looks homeless. Adam Carolla talks about this all the time. When he was younger, he's like, when you saw a rich guy, you knew he was a rich guy. Because he would dress and like let it be known, like yeah, I'm a classy individual. I've made a good living. Now, every rich guy drives a Prius and has flip-flops on. You're just like, I don't know if that guy's worth $50 million or he's got a $20,000 a year
Or a
job.
Mercedes with a corduroy jacket. You just can't tell.
Again, like John, I think there's something about losing your dream gig that makes you suddenly homeless and Asian.
Yeah, you're right.
Both of their eyes are just closing on them for some reason.
Yeah, I was talking to someone on the phone the other day who studies the Devilverse pretty closely, and he says the only difference between Opie and John is alcoholism.
Oh, I think that was Adam who said
Yeah, that was me.
the day.
Well, yeah, okay, you're not the only one.
But I like this guy.
making a lot of good points.
I'll drink to that.
Harpua, didn't Opie's wife get around with the Jackass crew? There is a rumor. There are rumors about that. I've never looked into that myself. Bam Margera, I believe. Diablo Sandwich, $5 says, it probably wasn't Patrice that said that, but Opie knows the position that Patrice holds for fans, so he used him to try to bolster his BS story. Good point. That would be the go-to guy. And even Patrice would say, even though Patrice and Jim and Patrice and Anthony were best friends the entire time that Patrice was alive. Where is Rob Saul? I keep looking in the green room. He was supposed to come on 12 minutes ago. Here, Rob. I sent him the link. I can check my email, see if he gave me any updates on that, because I don't. Oh, here he is. He did email me. And ending up having to go into work tonight. Won't be able to make it tonight. Sorry for the inconvenience. Oh, that's all right, Rob. That's okay, buddy. We can get you out another time. I was looking forward to talking to Rob about this, but it might be more fun if he's not here.
There's always that.
Going through these clips. Before we do that, real quick, I want to talk about Chad.
It's time to mock Zumock.
Because he talked about this Backstage Cafe, how he was a booker for that.
Oh, yeah.
And then Adam's like, oh, that's interesting. I used to play there regularly. I had a pretty regular gig at that place.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chad went, oh, humana. And Chad Zumock, again, this new clipper who's killing it, got a clip of Chad straining to do some explaining. And I think, you're a pretty good judge of like body language and the way people stumble over words when they're trying to spin a tale. I think this is quite telling what we're going to see here.
I might have heard it on your show yesterday. He said that he used to book at the Backstage Cafe in Beverly Hills.
Okay. Okay, here we go. So this really was Adam Busch that super chatted me. Okay, so let me let him set this up, and then we'll get into it.
I used to play there weekly.
Okay.
And it was only around for a very short time. So I am almost positive that we've had interactions together.
If he was the booker. Carl wants to go straight at me and call me a liar. He's locked and loaded to call me a liar right now.
Well, it says rightfully so. You said you booked the club, aka the booker. Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify if a guy was getting booked at a club a lot, he would know who the booker was. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Wants to call me a liar. It never happened. I never booked anything. I didn't go to the...
So Chad's already changing what it is that I'm saying. Oh, Chad's never booked anything. Chad's always like, well, that's not what I'm saying, but okay, proceed.
He was never at the Backstage Cafe, and just watch.
I was never at the Did I say he was never at the Backstage Cafe?
No.
So he's changing what I said in order to prove me wrong. Smart tactic. If I was dumb, I'd fall for this.
He was the booker because the club's owned by Miles Copeland, who managed the Police and still manages Sting, Stuart Copeland's brother. So it was like a hard rock cafe, kind of just small little place that a lot of musicians hung out at. We had the They Might Be Giants after party there when we opened for them in LA.
Okay, what Adam's saying is true. Where I fucked up yesterday explaining this, I said Ian Copeland owned it. It was Miles Copeland, his brother, and their brothers were Stuart Copeland from the Police.
Yeah, that's not the part anyone's concerned about, Chad.
No one brought that up.
No one brought that up. No one cares. I'm not even sure if that's true, that you said the wrong brother's name, but okay.
I ran a room there for a year and a half.
Ran a room. Listen to how this changes from running a room for a year and a half, and then hear what this turns into.
I wasn't the booker of the back. I ran a comedy show on Sundays called we call it Comedy Sunday Mass, and then it was so successful we would do Monday. So we do comedy Sunday nights, and then we do comedy Monday night or Sunday night or Monday night. Sorry, I'm talking all over the place. He must be on drugs, right, Nick Ricada? So
thank you, Chad Buschback. Or he's lying because he's getting very flustered here.
it was like an open mic.
Okay. See how this has changed so much? I ran the room there. Okay, it was a comedy show. Well, I mean, it was like an open mic. Okay, so you organized an open mic?
It was a soup kitchen, okay?
What's he talking about? This is all very different than what you originally described. And I wonder how many of his stories would turn out to be wild exaggerations if only there were more Adam Bushes in the Dabblefers to call him out.
Like oil can gate.
Right. That didn't take much.
No, he just a little bit of pressure and everything crumbled.
Patrick Melton pretended he had like a private investigator on it. It's just like, okay, it didn't happen. Fine. You got me.
There is no Kumia country.
And there was and if Adam's watching.
What's that, Adam?
No, I mean, here's the thing with this. His problem is that he doesn't like to hear the big picture, so he just, goes over the minutia, like Stuttering John with his grammar, right? We'll just dissect the grammar so I can ignore the bigger picture. When you obsess over these insignificant details, like which Copeland brother it was, you're doing that to miss the point. However, what you're saying, Chad, is true. And it's the same reason I was kind of vague about it, because it was all a vague kind of thing. You didn't run a room. They had comedy until 9 on Sunday and Monday. And as soon as he said it, I remembered it. He's absolutely right, because then after 9, we would show up and play. And there wasn't even a stage. It was the corner of the upstairs of this bar, and we had to share space, and the comics had a mic, and we came in with way more stuff. It's all fine and it's all true.
Yeah.
But to attack Carl for saying, I suspect he might be lying, when statistically you are. I know you from the catalytic converter story. My first introduction to Chad Zumock was you getting up and saying, well, I lied about it, so now that's the end of the bit. Okay. Yep. I didn't even care. It's just a part of your character. We're going to question what you're talking about. And maybe don't jump on these tiny details that other people say when you don't remember them as well either. We were all there at the same time. That's all I'm saying. And this is just impossible for Chad or Kevin Brennan to process, that there's no attack here. They just immediately get on the defensive and start attacking when it was like, I just said I knew you. Fuck you, you liar. You lie. You lie. No, I just said I knew you.
And all I said was, if you were playing there and he was the booker, then you guys would know each other from that. But obviously, when it turns into, I ran an open mic that was on Sundays. It's, if he had said that to begin with, I wouldn't have made that connection. I wouldn't have said, well, maybe you've crossed my path. I don't know.
This was a cool club that both Chad and I convinced someone there to let us play that probably didn't need or want us to, but we did what we did. And now here we are talking to Carl. It doesn't have to be grenades. We're just talking. That's all. It'll get dark soon enough.
It was like an open mic. And there was and if Adam's watching, he knows what I'm talking about. I was a bartender at RJ's. It was a rib joint on Beverly Hills.
I mean, do you see when he has to start opening up about this shit? Like things change. Like he's running a room to now he's a bartender at a barbecue restaurant. Yeah.
I see this kind of shit all the time, but it's not when I'm catching up on the Dabbleverse or the Tattleverse or watching anything else. It's when I'm watching body cam footage. This is how everything goes at first. Unnecessary details, gaslighting, distraction. You get it.
And everyone there was a comic. They were all Canadian comics. So,
I mean, again, these details are so stupid. He was a bartender at a restaurant in Beverly Hills that was full of Canadian comics.
Hey, buddy.
Okay, sure.
I was looking to do a place to do stand-up. I was my second year doing stand-up. I was like, I need a room. Everyone had a room. So I found that place. I forgot who ran it at the time, and we set it up, and we start calling in all our favors. We call it. I remember Craig Robinson, who was on The Office, Hot Tub Time Machine. He was there every week. And we would get comics there, and it started building and growing. And I most certainly...
A few moments later.
The reason why I said Ian Copeland is because I think it was in 2006, Ian Copeland died. And they had like his after party funeral calling hours there. And it was the day we were doing comedy. So all these music industry people were there. I think Stuart Copeland was there, and we still had a comedy show, and it was packed.
Yeah, with people who weren't there to see comedy. He always takes credit for shit.
Yeah, also it was a funeral.
We were sold out that night. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, right.
Comedy show. We just had a funeral, so do the comedy show. So we were all like, holy shit. Luckily, I don't know if he was there.
I would love to play after a funeral. What an opening act that is, huh?
Tough crowd.
Yeah,
So
if you're
anyway,
not doing like Irish fugues, I don't know what you're supposed to be playing.
So I'm working at Kmart. This guy wants to get a ceiling fan and asks if he can put it on the wall. And I'm like, what?
Adam, but at the time, Dane Cook just happened to show up. This is when Dane Cook was MySpace Dane, blowing the fuck up all over Comedy Central, Vicious Circle.
None of this has anything to do with anything. Whatever.
No.
Who cares? It's so stupid what he's talking about.
It
here.
really is like he's on trial.
Right. It's like, all right. We just ask if you booked the room or not.
Understand, this is how he acts when he's not lying. He's not lying. All of this stuff happened. I saw
But
one
he was
time.
caught. He was caught in an exaggeration where it turns out that him and his friends from a restaurant did some open mics there.
Yes, which should be his lesson. He didn't
Right.
have to do that to begin with. I did a gig there. He did a good gig there. I did one time. I remembered. I saw Craig Robinson and Wanda Sykes sitting there together. I remember thinking, oh, that's cool. Never occurred to me to tell anyone about it until right now. I said I used to do a gig there. That was it. I didn't say we did the sold out celebrity night where Dane Cook was there and Todd Rundgren showed up and I wrote a song with Joe Walsh. Do you want to hear it? Like it was just a night. That's all it is. And it was the same thing with Kevin. It's crazy. I hope we get to talk about that.
Yeah, we will. I just want to point out, because you brought up Wanda Sykes. Rolling Stone magazine has the best lists. They really do a great job of ranking different things. They ranked the top 50 comedians of all time recently. Wanda Sykes was number 50. Not on the list, Dave Attell or Norm Macdonald. Wanda Sykes is funnier than both of those guys. A lot of other white guys weren't included in this.
Chris Cole couldn't come up with Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes. POS. Is that our buddy? Pat Oates coming in with $10 says, oh no Rob Saul. This sucks. Sarcasm. Yeah, no one's worried about that. All right, the artist formerly known as Clyde, $10 says, not sure if you saw it today, but Chad's Atlantic City event has fallen apart. He couldn't answer simple questions KB had. His defense was, I'm not an event coordinator. Many times, refunds have been demanded. I was glued to this. And we were talking about it at the top of the show today. So I found out about this watching Bedabbler live Saturday morning, because they had someone call up this beer hall that they're doing this. Let me back up real quick. Atlantic City, Super Bowl weekend. Last year, Kevin Brennan was just like, hey, let's all go hang out in Atlantic City because it's close to where he lives. And he just wanted to play poker. He likes playing poker. And he thought that people who give him money on the internet could show up in person and give him money in real life. So it wasn't an event. It was just like a meetup thing. Stuttering John showed up, Rocco, Patrick Melton, Brian Johnson was there. Bob Levy was there, got into a fight with Kevin Brennan, got trespassed from the Borgata. All these things happen. We've covered all this stuff. So this year, Patrick Melton and Rocco got ahead of it, and they said, hey, let's do a meetup again. And then, because this was happening, Chad and Kevin from MLC said, oh, well, people are going to Atlantic City. We'll put on a show. And so Chad decided he was going to put on this show at this beer hall that's a mile and a half away from the Borgata. Chad said that you could walk there. I wouldn't recommend it. And this guy Blade from a show called Win by Two jumped in and said, I can produce this. I'll bring the equipment and we can take super chats. We can do a podcast live. They're going to have these amateur comedians come up and do a set. And then Kevin Brennan's going to make fun of them, just like Kill Tony. And they're going to do this whole show. And Chad was organizing this along with this Blade guy. So they booked this bar and Chad put out tickets on Eventbrite for $20 a piece. max capacity 60 people. So he sold 60 tickets at $20 a piece to this bar. And on Bedabbling Live on Saturday morning, I heard somebody called the bar and asked, hey, is that a private event on Saturday, or can I come with my friends and hang out? And the guy says, yeah, there's no private event. You can certainly come down here with your friends. And Chad's been saying, if you don't have a ticket, you're not getting in. So on the show today, I didn't catch all of it. So I'll look at the chat and guys, let me know if I'm missing anything on here. But basically, KB is hearing that, people could just like be hanging out there and stick around and watch the show. And then what's going to happen? We're going to be making noise, and there's a bunch of people who don't know anything about our show are there, and they're going to be complaining that we're making noise, and this is going to be a shit show. And Kevin's big thing, because I was in a text thread with Melton and Tukey, his big thing is like, it's going to be a shit show, and everyone's going to clown me for it because he hitched his wagon to Chad Zumock for some reason, and Chad cannot cross his T's or dot his I's, refuses to be buttoned up and figure out how to get this stuff to work. He can't even, every meeting they had about the show was live on their show because Kevin blocked Chad years ago when Chad texted Kevin and said he was going to essay Kevin's children. From what I remember, if I'm wrong about that, somebody let me know. I've said this twice now. I'm pretty sure that's the story of why Kevin blocked Chad a couple of years ago, so he can't communicate with him on his phone. So this was destined to fail from the start. We were talking about it. Patrick Melton was talking about it. Tukey was talking about it. This was going to be a disaster and a shit show, and it really blew up today. We're only a couple days out from this show. It's supposed to be this Saturday night, and Kevin has backed out. Well, Mike Buschetti was supposed to be on it. Mike Buschetti backed out.
What?
I know that was like their big get. Chad made fun of me for saying that Mike Buschetti wasn't a big get. It's like, what? We put a poll out on Twitter. Proved me wrong again. Good job. Proof I'm a liar. So yeah, this is falling apart. And also, I guess John is live right now. People are saying from his car.
But what was interesting about the chat thing is that if you listen to the show from last week, we went through the list of all of the things that needed to be done for a show to happen successfully, including live streaming and all of those things. And they laughed at us. Chad was laughing at us. And now KB today was going through the same list as if he had watched this episode and said, what's happening with this? So then what do the paying people get? So then how can people just walk in without paying? Are there going to be seats? How are we going to handle the live stream? Suddenly this was all very, very important as the gig is about to happen. But a week ago, no interest in that.
So artist formerly known as Clyde says, in short, Chad never secured the event, so charging people for tickets was pointless. He then said he will charge at the door, but didn't have permission from the owner. Yeah, because they were talking about bringing a door guy, and Kevin's like, who's going to run the door? And Chad's like, oh, well, my buddy's going to watch the door, and we got this ex-cop who's going to be there too. Yeah, so he's got an ex-cop buddy who's going to be a bouncer for them and shit. It's just like, well, you're going into this person's establishment. They're going to let you just like hassle people at the door? If I own a bar restaurant, the last thing I want is there to be some friction for people coming into my establishment.
Right. Well, it's cool. I'm bringing my own bartenders and my own booze.
Yeah, right. So this is not going well. I don't know what's going to happen. What Kevin ended up saying was he just wants to have people come into his room, and he'll just do a show from his hotel room. And Chad's like, what do you mean? Why would you do that? I'm pretty sure places like the Borgata don't let you do that because they would probably have parties upstairs all the time. So it's probably one of those places where you have to have a key to get on the elevator. Or if not, they're at least like policing that stuff a little bit, and there's security keeping an eye on that. You don't just want to watch 80 people go up an elevator into one guy's room and party because they want you drinking their booze and gambling in the casino and stuff.
And if anything were to go wrong, this would be hard to explain to the media and the police why this old guy had all these people in his room and whatever happened. It's very creepy.
It's very odd, the whole thing. So, I mean, I was glued to this story because Chad is, he's beaten down. He's trying to please Papa Brennan, and he's not getting the feedback that he so needs and desires with him going, great job, Chad. I can't wait to do this show. It's going to be so fun. You've done an excellent job. It says just like you were saying, Adam, just questioning everything. And Chad didn't have answers for things. He's like, well, I didn't talk to the guy, but so-and-so talked to the guy, and he said that we'd be able to do this thing. And Kevin's like, can I talk to him? I need to talk to this guy if that's what we're going to do. So, do you watch it at all, Adam?
I saw some of it. Yeah. I just saw KB going down that list and him having no answers for basic show stuff. And it was just funny that now suddenly Kevin is concerned about it. Did people bought the tickets in advance? Is that what happened?
Correct. I know a lot of people who did.
I mean, I can't imagine showing up to a bar and saying, hey, can I charge a bunch of people to come to your bar on Saturday night and give you a cut of it? Like, what do we have to do? Nothing.
He thought they had a private
go
event.
ahead.
He thought they had a private event there. It's the Saturday before the Super Bowl in Atlantic City. Why would you think you have a private event?
I would be very pissed if I showed up to a bar with a ticket and saw people just walking into the same space without paying anything. I would feel very ripped off and not in the mood to laugh.
That was the other thing that Kevin was talking about. He's like, well, if you have a ticket, can you get a table? If you don't have a ticket, can you just sit down at the table? And she's like, I don't know. I'd have to ask and figure it out because there's going to be people there before the show starts who are definitely let in for free. Yeah. Can they just stick around and do they have to kick them out?
Right. Imagine that process.
It's not happening.
Kevin said, so what does a ticket get you?
Yes.
He had no answer.
It gets Chad $60 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
So $20.
Apparently, I see in the chat that John just went live, which is interesting. I don't know. It must be on his channel because Rob said he's at work. John was on with Rob on Rob's channel last night. We'll get into that in just a moment. Stewie Felt says, I typed welcome back Elkie on SJ's stream just now and immediately got put in timeout. So I guess he doesn't have a good sense of humor about his alcoholism yet. The artist formerly known as Clyde. Best sign someone is lying. Restructures prior statement followed by countless details and stories that are irrelevant. Chad and Stuttering John do this a lot. Yeah, he reframes what I said and then goes into details. Who gives a shit?
And they both start stammering.
Yeah. Penis wrinkle. Stuttering John is playing Kate tapes all over again because Rob deleted his show. Same commentary, no video, and it's the original version of the tapes with low volume. Oh, okay, we're going to get into all that. That's so fucking funny. John really dropped the ball on all of this. I have a lot of thoughts on it. Josh O says, John already sounds wasted on his live. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll cover that in a very near WATP episode. But first, I do want to talk. We're going to get into all the Rob Saul stuff. And right before we do that, I want to talk about our buddy Aaron Imholte over on Steel Toe.
Please, guys, Streamlabs, PayPal, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, Venmo. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we don't deserve it.
So I had mentioned, well, okay, we put together a video. I put it out as its own separate clip, and I labeled it that Aaron's lying about me. And I was hoping that this would get back to him because Aaron tends to do this thing where he makes up something that I said or did and then runs with it for forever.
Sure.
I don't know if he forgot that he's the one who made it up or what's going on. This happened when he claimed that I thought that April hadn't divorced him and that he was going to come back on his show and April's going to be next to him and it was going to be a big F you to all the Steel Toe haters. And I said that on my show, on Melton's show, and then I was wrong. I was completely wrong. And then I did a show with guys who are really into into Steel Toe. And I said, guys, how did I get this so wrong? What am I missing here? Tell me more about Aaron. I obviously don't understand this character very well at all. I was so off on this. And Aaron was going around going, and Carl's such a fucking liar. He won't admit that he was wrong about April. It's really weird. He won't admit that he's wrong until finally Keanu was on the show and goes, Aaron, that's not true. Carl completely admitted that he was wrong about this. Why do you keep saying this? Oh, he did? So Aaron makes up these narratives and then runs with them and won't stop. So I put out that video that said, I had nothing to do with saying the slam piece is running your show. And I showed the exact conversation we had on This Little Piggy where we were analyzing his background and it had nothing to do with me saying I thought his girlfriend was running his show. But this is just a recent episode.
Off. We got some mentally ill people that watch this show that think SP runs it behind the scenes, including Carl, I guess. He's one of those people. I make these people so paranoid.
Including Carl, I guess he's one of these people. Aaron, text me. We have each other's numbers. Ask me if I think that. I don't.
I am, again.
And by the way, it's probably true. It very well could be true that he's getting a lot of advice from his girlfriend, because his girlfriend is telling him about stuff that she's reading on the internet and Reddits and shit like that. So I'm just not the one who's saying these things.
Just in their head, 100%. You can deny it if you want to, but that's called denying reality, my man.
And then he gets all pompous about it too. Just like, I mean, this fucking Carl guy, what a piece of shit. He's so stupid. Am I right? Aaron, I put the videos out so you could watch them and correct yourself. It's right there. It's free. Check it out. He's doing something this week. He's changing his personality again.
Oh.
He does this from time to time.
He was due.
He was due for a new, remember Positive Aaron? Where he's like, we're not talking about the goal. I'm just going to hope things work out. I'm going to do a great show and everything should land where it should land and we'll be good. And if I don't make the goal, whatever, man, we'll make it up the next show or, things will be great.
Oh, that was a character he was doing?
That was a character he was doing. I got you. And there's a lot of speculation that his girlfriend was telling him to do that. I don't know.
Here we go.
I don't know if that's the case or not. He didn't say it. There was some speculation out there. But this is a brand new character that he's playing. And Adam, I really want to get your take on this because I think he's gone mad. I feel like with this.
Let's go ape shit, huh? You know what I would dream of? I would dream of that 185 going out like that. Everybody go crazy. Everybody get nuts. Let's look for the purple banana till they put us in the truck. Everybody give me money. Everybody click PayPal. Everybody click Streamlabs. Just throw it. Don't even think about it. As they say in Billy Madison, don't even think about it. Just hand it over.
This is like, I guess, the Beggy Monster? Is that the new character that he's playing?
Well, it's a very friendly version, but
I like the Beggy Monster better personally, but
the body language is amazing. He looks like a baby in a high seat waiting to get fed and like having a tantrum that the food isn't there yet. He is so white, he's almost blending into the background. I think if there wasn't that orange steel toe behind his head, we would just see a floating pair of glasses and a shirt.
You're right. That's why he centers that right there, because the paint on the wall is the same color. That makes sense.
We knocked it out this morning. I want to have a perfect day today. I can't go without. This isn't sarcasm, by the way.
No, it doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't. No.
You seem sincere. And I would like to have a perfect day also. And that day, for me, involves not giving you money.
I'm having a perfect day right now. Can you believe it? Look at this asshole. I was going to say something more rude.
He looks like a South Park character, like an actual one.
Yeah, right.
He looks like he should be voiced by Rocco.
Yes. Give me this fucking money.
Spare some change.
He looks like those Canadian comics that Chad used to work with over at RJ's.
Don't come here, right, buddy? I'm not
Competitive a mood. I'm feeling myself too much. There were people on Twitter today finally acknowledging there's so many people. Like toe derangement syndrome has become a thing that the internet's now using. There's a lot of people with it.
Okay. This is the most frustrating part of Aaron. He's so this new character is so unlikable. He's coming off as a pompous asshole that you would not want to give money to or be friends with or have a conversation with at any time. But the worst part is when he sees something on the internet that he likes, and then he goes, everyone's coming around on this too. I saw on Twitter, everyone's agreeing with me. Show me. I do this crazy thing all the time where I take a screen grab of the tweet that somebody put out. Yesterday I was on the Drew Lane show, and we were talking about Victory the Podcast, which is the show that Kevin Conley from Entourage put together, and then ended up ripping everybody off. And it was a big scandal, actually. And he just came back recently, and now he's started a Patreon. He's asking for people's money on Patreon. And I didn't go on there and just go, yeah, people in the comments don't like that. I went, look at these comments people are writing underneath this video who are blasting him for wanting him to give them to give. My point is receipts.
Look, he's either stupid or lying, because the only excuse for this is if he truly searches the hashtag TDS and goes, look at that, there's millions of them. Millions of them.
Yes.
It's also Trump derangement syndrome.
Right,
It's
yes,
not,
or-
everyone's
or
not
the Dick
talking
Show.
about the
Yeah.
toe. Or the Dick Show. There you go.
But this is what he does. He goes, yeah, and everyone's coming around on this. I saw it on the internet. It's like, dude, just fucking show a couple examples. Like, even that, you can still totally lie and act like this is the sentiment that's going on this Discord server or in this subreddit or on X or whatever. But at least show a couple examples so that we go, okay, I see what you're saying. He just fucking says this shit.
He's satisfied with this, just like John or Chad saying, I was talking with my buddy on the phone. That's
Yep.
enough for us.
Yeah, there's proof.
No,
he agreed.
Opie never says that, though. That's just funny.
Yeah, no, he never does.
We
No,
try
but
not
John-
to believe news that starts with people are saying that. You know, people they're all saying that.
That's like that famous Mike Tyson interview where I think he's up in Canada. He's just like, who's saying that? You're saying that, you piece of shit, you cocksucker. You motherfucker. He's just like, all right, hey, Mike. It's just like, no, I want to know who's saying that. You're saying that.
You're right. It was me.
And they just can't get over it. And they're just obsessed. And they Aaron's got him. In fact,
I mean, this is segment 4 out of 6 or something on the show today, but we're obsessed and Aaron's got us.
a lot of the Dabbleverse Twitter accounts today, which, I like to hang out outside the Dabbleverse and observe them because they're interesting creatures. They're my pets. And they're out there. The commentators there are saying nobody makes him feel like Steel Toe does. He gets them all melting down, whether it's Patrick, whether it's his fans, every.
He's doing this thing where, he's taking what Patrick Melton has been doing. He's even got a jingle for it where he's showing that he's getting people emotional over what he's saying. And he's watching these people like Aaron's not a logical guy. He's not a pragmatic guy. He's an emotional woman all the time. And you see it all the time. Like it comes out on his show.
It's funny you say that. I was going to say he is his biggest cheerleader.
Yes.
He's an emotional woman.
Yes, for sure. Like if I'm having a really good day or a really bad day, there's not a huge difference between my demeanor.
I can attest to this.
Right. I'm pretty even keeled.
Yeah.
I try to be pragmatic and not emotional. And Aaron comes out and just goes, all these people are so fucking emotional. It's just like he's running his arms around and getting all upset.
Everybody else, Aaron's in their head. It's a goddamn infection.
All right, let me back that up again because this is insane what he's saying.
They're my pets. And they're out there. The commentators there are saying nobody makes him feel like Steel Toe does. He gets them all melting down, whether it's Patrick, whether it's his fans, everybody else. Aaron's in their head. It's a goddamn infection. And you're right, it is. And
that's such a weird thing to be like the laughing stock. If you're getting bullied in school, is your comeback like, you guys are obsessed with me? That's all you ever think about is taking my lunch money and giving me swirlies.
That's pretty close to what this is.
That's what this is. It's like, no, we just enjoyed giving you swirlies. You seem to hate it, and we're having fun.
But since you won't admit that, we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
The only thing
who does he think is watching this? Who's here?
Right.
I thought this was a news show or some shit. Like,
well, as he told us last year, he covers the news, and he is the news, so he covers himself.
that's how you know it's not biased.
in their head, it's a goddamn infection. And you're right, it is. And the only thing that we need is money. That's it. We don't need your love. We don't need you to suck up or anything like that. All we need is money. That's it. So we got him, man. Actual steel toe wearer too.
Remember when Kenneth Copeland was they're like, why do you need an airplane to that televangelist? And his eyes get wild. And he starts talking about the demons and how, he is above. He can't be riding in an airplane with the demons. That's the same look in this guy's eyes. This is crazy shit.
Is a
I don't need
televangelist.
love. Yeah. You can't stand there in a church and say, we don't want your love. We don't want your respect. It's not about being good. Give us money. That's actually the devil, according to the Bible.
Yeah, and it also doesn't yield great results. No. I don't think it's a great tactic
because he has to do it every day.
Yeah, it's not working.
Give us your
him.
hate money.
Look at this fucking
yeah.
beaver.
This is
come on.
Aaron's the easiest guy to make thumbnails for. I appreciate it, buddy.
Money. That's it. So we got him, man. Actual steel toe wearer too. We got him. It to watch Twitter start to turn and finally notice what I've been noticing for a long time. They're like, steel toe derangement syndrome is real. They can't get enough. And you see, like, actual steel toe wearer. He's been wanting a crack for a long time, not getting it. Now he's just going to have to delude himself into thinking it's happening. That is the very last stage before surrender. Thank you. Actual steel toe wearer, you know what? You're gone. How's that? That is ultimate power. Ah!
He blocked someone and is celebrating like that isn't the biggest pussy move that you can make. Wow, yeah, you're really in control, Aaron. You're killing it.
He sounds
Victory
like
is
an
mine.
old man in a nursing home that you just want to let play pretend for a little while until he works himself up and then tires himself out. And then you're like, okay, buddy, it's time to go back to bed now and start it all over again tomorrow. This is not real. This is just a man in his basement yelling at an empty room.
Yeah, well, as Eric Nagel put it in our chat just now, he's playing radio, but I don't think he turns this off. And this is the thing, like, he's obviously playing a character right now, but there's something coming out that's real, because you wouldn't see any of us do this. We don't have this in us to do this kind of thing.
That is ultimate power. Ah!
I just wanted to get that. I just wanted to get this stupid shot of him. Yeah, you're slaying it, buddy. You are slaying it.
Victory is mine. Because that is the worst thing you can do to those people, is cut them off from access from the man. Billy Bob Norris says, you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. It's just, you feel that turning point where the rats are scattering and they've got no comeback for it. You just pointed out to him, you're like, you need this. You talk about it all the time. You're obsessed with it. You can't get enough. I've beaten you into submission and you don't even know it yet. All right, let's get going with the show. You guys.
Well, let's see, what do we got going on
Let's
today?
make with the cash. That's the deal. If that relationship remains symbiotic, there's nothing stopping the toe. So throw it in, and then I don't have to do this all night. All I have to do is what I do best. Let's put on a little show for you fine folks.
Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah, when does it start?
Yeah, was this not the show? When does the show start?
In my opinion, that was the show. That's why we watched that part of it. But this is, I don't know, he keeps trying different things. He keeps trying to see what works. I guess he's been getting donations lately, so he feels like this is working for him. And good on him. Everyone's got to make a living, right? God, wouldn't you rather be doing anything else with your life than begging on the internet like this and embarrassing yourself?
I can't imagine giving a speech about how amazing I am and then segueing right into begging without even connecting the two. It's a very thin line, or it's a very thick line between champion and begging. Those two for money specifically, and going like this to people, doing the finger thing means the taxes. Like no one wants.
Televangelist was very close.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's got to work on his technique a little bit. Yeah, he's got to learn some things. Supertip.gg/WATP to participate in the conversation tonight. We appreciate your support.
It's like we were falling in love.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into John and Kate Meanie, and that's what's coming up next. But first, I want to see what people are saying in our chat.
Yes.
So, Vitaly for $5 says, LOL, 60 middle-aged men caught in the same hotel room together. A lot of those assumptions can be made. It's a weird thing to invite people up to your hotel room, even if that is allowed. Neelax44, maybe it's me, but I have a hard time thinking someone is a good guy when he calls his girlfriend Slam Piece. What a cute nickname, huh?
Yeah, and I feel like that's what the if there were a jury trial, that's what the jurors would be saying to each other. For Aaron,
right?
When weighing on this thing, like, I don't know what he did, but that's not good.
I mean, everything points to the fact that he has no respect for women. If you go through any of his show, even when he was parading April in her bikini, going back to that, it's like, that's your co-host and wife. Okay. Vito's Cradle. Hey, Carl, can you hand this over to Aaron? Cheers. Oh, yeah. Let me get right on that. Let me Venmo him so he can get that money. I saw someone in the chat talk about how we shouldn't be so rigid on this show. we should be sniping John right now. I'll tell you why we're not sniping John right now. 2 reasons. One is that most of what John's going to do on his show will be boring, and you're not going to ever hear it on WATP. And 2, he will try to play his stupid copyrighted music and get my video taken down and then another strike on it. And I find that annoying. So I'd like to avoid that. We'll check out his video that he's doing now. We'll cut it up and we'll have the highlights for you. And that's exactly what I did today for this Rob Saul episode from last night.
Bloody ass. Can I get a little sympathy? Because I got a bloody ass. I'm bleeding generously. Because I got a bloody ass.
All right. John returned. I feel like I've been saying that a lot. John has returned to the Devilverse. I say it every week. He left forever, December 31st, but then this thing happened where someone had a phone call conversation with Kate Meanie and recorded it, and they sent it to John, and then John sent it to Rob, and then Rob played it on his show last night, and John came on to be a guest on that show. And so this is the Rob Saul Show. By the way, his website, saulshow.com, is just broken. Oh, this guy can't do anything right. He promotes it right on his YouTube page. This video has been taken down. You cannot find it anymore. So if you wanted to know what's going on with the Kate Meanie tapes, there's no way to know. Except for I guess John's playing them now. Let's see how this one starts off.
Yes, 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 yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rob Saul Show. That's right. We're here live tonight with the real Kate Meanie tapes, and I've been reviewing these for the last few hours. I was at the gym earlier. I'm just going. I got my notes for all the tapes here. I mean, there's pages of notes I have here for these Kate Meanie tapes, where she even plays the exact tapes that I guess the shitware is going to try to grift from, which is like pretty much nothing.
What is he about to write down?
Wow.
Do you see how coherent he is, though? He actually seems kind of confident. He wrote notes today. He's ready with this content he's going to put out.
He has a pen.
Yeah, it's a very different Rob Saul than what we're going to see a couple hours from now, where some things start to catch up with him a little bit. But it starts off like he's ready to go. He's got some breaking news, and he can't wait to show it, play it for us. I do want to point out the Kate Meanie conversation, and he claims that he has the phone calls that Shuli has. Shuli has over 5 hours of phone calls. So Kate did not play that for this guy while they're on the phone together. But John comes on the show, and right out of the gate, he's got a joke ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stuttering John Melendez. John, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rob. How are you? I love the dazzling outfit.
Yes. Yes.
Did you borrow that from Freddie Mercury?
I did not. I got this,
Pop culture references with John are incredible. There is nothing from this century ever. Never once will he ever have Freddie Mercury. Okay. Got it. Got him good with that one. He was all excited about it too. He couldn't wait to get it out.
He mentioned the band Fish recently.
Whoa. I mean,
I think that's his closest he got.
It's impressive.
Possum.
Yeah.
All right. So they're worried about the snipers who will be sniping the show. And so John's all ready to play his intro music to his show, which he has copyrighted. And there's a lot of funny things going on here. Now, John's not on video. He's backstage where you can hear his voice. But then when they're ready to get the snipers, you see the only way John knows how to play his video to get them.
I hear many people are going to be sniping us tonight, so just give them a taste because we will be striking channels tonight. Let's give them a taste.
I already gave you the,
All right, we'll play it.
Okay, so now what we're seeing is John's in his StreamYard, and you see him back there, and he's playing this video because the only way he knows how to trigger this video is in StreamYard. It's loaded in StreamYard. So this is his backstage StreamYard where he's playing this. Rob's dancing along to this music because they're going to get
all right, people. There you go.
So I mean, because here's the thing, Rob.
That John couldn't send him that video for him to play. He has no idea how to just trigger that on his show in any other way, he has to be in StreamYard, and he didn't even realize that he's on the show. So we see that he's in his house, which is impressive. We haven't seen him in his house in a long time.
Means he has internet in his house.
Yeah, he's in front of the closet.
Yes.
And he's wearing one of his dark Brandon shirts. So very topical. it's great. I'm sure Joe Biden's doing a lot of great work right now. And John explains how he came about this tape. This guy emailed it to him, this audio. And John is a moron. He had no idea how to get it over to Rob to play on his show. He only knows one way to do that. And this was a lot of work to him.
This fell in my lap. And the only thing I'll tell you, it was a lot of arduous work, because what happened is the guy that sent me these, John Doe 2, I couldn't upload them to YouTube.
Uh-huh.
So last night I had this fucking horrible experience of having to listen to these.
Oh, yeah.
And listen to a drunken, rambling lunatic. And I had to tape it from my phone because I couldn't upload the guy. I don't know what the fuck, format he was. I'm not good, when it comes to technical issues. So
are you following this so far? He was playing them on his computer. So someone emailed it to him. He's playing it on his computer and then recording it with his phone. He had his phone out recording it in order to capture the audio because he didn't know how to upload that to YouTube. Now, John, there's other services outside of YouTube. You could Google them. There's SoundCloud. There's a million other ways. I mean, you could forward that message to Rob and he could play it on his show. I didn't understand why you needed to get it on YouTube for whatever reason, but this was a huge hurdle he had to overcome.
But I was able to tape it, and then I still tried to upload it, and I still couldn't upload it. And then, Rob, I realized I needed pictures to upload. You can't upload audio.
Yeah.
Which is probably the problem. So then I had to took me like an hour to put all the fucking pictures of, this shit together. So it was a lot of work, but hey, revenge is sweet. Skål!
What's fascinating about this, and I've been saying this for a while, John's the stupidest guy I know, but he's lazier than he is stupid. And the fact that he's complaining, it took me an hour to put this video together. Everyone else in the Tattleverse or the Dabbleverse or the Shitverse or the Hackverse, I'll spend hours and hours a day editing videos. No one complains and considers it like really difficult work that they do.
Some of us enjoy it.
I hope you do, because that's what you're spending a lot of your time doing. And in John's mind, an hour's worth of work is a bridge too far. He's like, I can't believe I even went through with all this, Rob. I did this all for you. Thanks, John.
Yeah. He's also like, to anyone that's listening, he's explaining the process of like learning how to ride a bike like it was some, tragic thing that happened to him. I had to try and then get it wrong and then try again and then look it up and then do something new. We're aware of how learning works, and we do it a little more often than you, so it's not as unique an experience for us.
Adam, did you know that YouTube you have to upload videos to? That
pretty
video
much
platform?
what they're known for. Pretty much, that's their thing.
I tried to upload a JPEG. It wouldn't take that. I tried some applications. It didn't want my applications up there.
I tried beer.
And this is his like bit right out of the gate. Like, let me show them all what they've been missing.
Yeah.
It's complaining about daily tasks. And also, he said it. I'm sorry. It's worth noting that, and I need John to explain it to me like a child. How is he leaving the Dabbleverse not admitting defeat if you're saying that you're only coming back to get revenge and then go back to hiding? If you've won the war, you don't go back to get revenge. You just start enjoying the spoils.
Very good point. Yes.
Build on that. You know what I mean?
Very good point. Yeah. And I don't even know if this was this big gotcha that he was hoping for. But anyway, so John's explaining why he's not on camera.
I'm just like, I don't plan coming back here. That's why I'm not on camera, because I don't want to give this shit away or anything. Because really, without me,
that's all he does.
So John thinks this isn't giving Uncle Rico show, Shuli, aka the Shitwear, anything to work with. I'm only scratching the surface on this 2-hour video. Like,
right,
Joe, we don't have to look at how ugly you are to make fun of you. You're stupid for so many reasons. There's so many ways to clown this guy.
Yeah, I think there's another reason that he's not on video, because he's in top physical condition.
That's true.
You think he'd be showing it off?
Yeah, you would think that.
I think, and I know it's a bit of a reach, but you got to understand, Rob Saul gets validation here. He didn't turn. He didn't do any of the shows. He didn't make the rounds. He stayed loyal, and so John rewarded him. And presumably, anyone that's quote unquote turned on him didn't get this big get that Rob got. And this should be a thank you to Rob for A, loyalty, and B, doing the show for free all of those years. But because he's incapable of being a good friend or a good colleague, he fucks it up for his friend, and he doesn't give him the gift. I swear it's intentional. It's like he didn't want Rob to succeed too much. So I won't give him the visual, so it won't really go viral. And I'll probably do it myself again the next day to get whatever money I can, just so it's not an exclusive for you at all. Like, what an asshole.
And you're right about that. Like, seeing John on the screen definitely adds an element. But the Dabbleverse started because we were reviewing his audio podcast, and we couldn't get enough of it. And we've been going back on our Patreon, or if you're on our YouTube, if you joined the channel, we're going back and doing Living in the Past with Stuttering John, listening to his old episodes from 2018. They were just audio. And there's plenty to talk about.
They still do it. Rico's covering, old Howard Stern shows, and you don't miss it. I listen to these shows anyway. I don't watch them. He just doesn't want Rob to have the big get, or he looks so bad and is so drunk and so embarrassed.
I'm glad you said that, because we're going to see him. I zoomed in on him this time because he make another attempt to play the song here to get the snipers with the copyrighted material. And so the only way they know how is to show John backstage on his own StreamYard.
And then, of course, I wanted to say this as well. You got to play that. You got to cue that up for me when I need it.
I gave you a cue to tell me when.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to need to constantly play it. But anyway, there we go.
All right, so I have it muted. But there you can see there's John. And, he's growing his hair out. We've seen him on Cameo. We know what he looks like. Probably is in between diagrams.
Do you remember the cue I gave you?
No, I don't. I thought I was going to point at you, but that's
no. Well, it was Ufa.
Ufa. Okay. All right.
Ooh-ha.
Ooh-ha.
I just watched Scent of the Woman finally, and I found it a great movie. And hoo-ha.
No, it's ooh-wah. It's ooh-wah.
Did he try and say scent of a woman?
Yes.
It's a sentimental woman.
This fucking guy, he's acting like he's killing it and he's living the best life. He's watching old movies on, I don't know, some probably over-the-air service that he gets for free.
At Sears.
Yes. And that's like what he spends his day doing, and it completely changes his world. He talks about it. Whenever he sees a movie, he has to repeat quotes from it and everything else. These guys are a terrible team together. They're like, remember you were going to give me a cue? Yeah, but we never talked about what the cue was. And so he caught him flat-footed, didn't know what to do.
You know who would make a great team? Rob's left hand and John's left hand, because they're both autonomous. They exist completely outside of their bodies and have their own relationships and movements. And it's like a whole puppet show of their left hands that they have no control over. I bet that's where all the rationality is. And they would get together really well.
You are going to see Rob is so fidgety. And we've talked about this before with Rob. He's always on his phone. He's constantly just going through his text messages. Like, I'm getting notes from people who are annoying the fuck out of me, but I'm not getting distracted by it by any means, Ray DeVito. I'm not getting distracted by the texts that I'm getting from people. I wonder what Ray has to say. He was messaging me earlier this week when he found out he wasn't getting paid for the Atlantic City gig. Like, what do you think was going to happen? Chad does a show about how much you suck. You think he's going to give you money? I don't know. What do I know about any of this stuff? All right. So John has been writing. He comes up with a killer joke. He's ready to go with this one.
And she would send me pictures of Luigi Angelini or Angelino, the fucking other, this.
Okay. Let me explain what Judd's trying to say here, because Kate Meanie is pen pals with Scott Peterson. who murdered his wife and is in prison forever. And I guess also she loves Luigi Mangione, right? Isn't that the guy's name?
Mm-hmm.
The guy who shot the CEO?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And she would send me pictures of Luigi Angelini or Angelino, the fucking other, you know, this killer.
Yeah, the guy that shot up the health insurance guy, right?
Yeah, the CEO, you know, of a pharmaceutical company. But she like is in love with murderers, which makes sense because she's also in love with Shuli. I mean, she's in love with killers, and you know, Shuli's the killer of comedy, isn't he?
Yes. There you go. Let's go. All right.
I would pay any amount of money to have John teach a comedy class.
Right. That was a Tom Myers joke.
He delivered it so poorly. He had no idea where he was going with that. She likes killers. You know who Shuli's a guy who in comedy, comedy can't even survive around Shuli. He's so bad at it.
He is incapable of being intentionally funny. And you could have him at a comedy school like behind glass with a comedy teacher explaining, now this is the definition of unintentionally funny. Because while he's butchering that joke, somewhere in there, he saw the name Luigi Mangione and said, got it, Angelina Jolie. That's funny.
He's so off on this shit.
And through the glass, he sees everyone busting up, rolling. He's like, I
still got it.
Yeah.
And Rob's so stupid that he doesn't correct him. He doesn't know what's going on. And he has to hit the stupid, just like Chad Zumock. He's got to go over to his roadcaster and hit the little drop. Oh, that was a funny. Oh, let me remind everyone, you just heard a funny over here. These guys are fucking hacks. All right, let's get to the tapes already. Can we get to the fucking tapes? Let's hear this phone call with Kate Meanie and whoever the fuck this guy is.
We got one. I mean, there's a lot of tape we have to get to, but we'll go with this.
Well, should we tease? So now I had to put all this because, you know, you know how long this took me to put all, because I was like, oh, fuck.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. You know, but okay, so I had to use images. So
Again, complaining about the workload he had. Jesus Christ. Just get to it already, man. Fuck.
You know, but okay, so I had to use images, so I figure.
Why not pictures of you and Kate Meanie making out? That's what I use as our cover photo tonight.
Only because she's accusing me of being an extraterrestrial dwarf.
Yeah.
But I will say she couldn't keep her hands off me.
Extraterrestrial dwarf? Is that what she? Because I don't know Kate Meanie was that funny.
Yeah, it's very funny.
It's pretty good. Let's hear that again.
Of being an extraterrestrial dwarf.
Oh, no, he didn't say that. Extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial. Okay, hold on.
Only because she's accusing me of being an extraterrestrial dwarf.
Yeah.
But I will say she couldn't keep her hands.
Rob doesn't go, what? Yeah. he goes, yeah. Right.
Some kind of dwarf.
That's incredible. I got to hear that one more time. So, and then I'll let him play.
It's our cover photo tonight.
Only because she's accusing me of being an extraterrestrial dwarf.
Yeah.
But I will say.
It's like when Howard went to satellite, he was extraterrestrial. Yeah, he was on terrestrial radio. Then he was
She couldn't keep her hands off me.
Wow.
When we met at El Parador, and there's a lot more pictures. And she was next to me the whole night. We ate with our arms around each other. I mean, so for her to say I'm some kind of ugly guy, well, what does that picture tell you?
It tells me that you can't control your left arm.
It tells me you got played so hard by this woman, and we all know it. There's some pretty funny ideas of what he was trying to say in here. Extra testicle. Extra menstrual from the Greater Good. Some good ideas in there. All right. So yeah, John's trying to say that she had the hots for him, even though he got played. And he can't come to grips with this. He's still pretending that like, no, that one night we were in love. It's a really weird thing. So getting back to why he's not on camera for this. He has a very specific reason why he's decided to not be on camera.
Jimmy Stewart, $1.99 wants to know, John, are you currently naked? Is that why you're not on camera? I guess.
Nope. I just don't want, because God forbid I give Shitway a 4 hours to analyze the booger in my nose.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that'll be a whole week's worth of show.
Or just don't have a booger in your nose. That's also a solution.
Nope.
He is not responsible for anything. The only way to avoid these Kate Meanie tapes being played is to kill Shuli. No, just don't go out with Kate again, and you won't have a problem.
Right. Can't help himself. Oh, this is crazy right here. So talking about John's big night with Kate. This was a big deal. Do you remember this right before Christmas? Mm-hmm. All these photos come out, and John's got all these stories about how magical it was, and cell phones were stolen, but they were up all night and sleeping in all day.
I slept in a chair.
No, he didn't say that, but that's what I heard. But this is him talking about that.
Kate Meanie stating that she never had sex with Stuttering John. But, John, you never claimed you had sex with Kate Meanie.
I never did, but here's the other thing.
Okay. John never claimed he did, but he also didn't deny it.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to play this thing, which is like, I'll never tell. I'm not going to tell. When he could have just been like, yeah, no, we didn't sleep together. Which is what you would do if you don't sleep with a girl. People ask if you did.
Correct.
That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
It's like, it'd be really weird for Kate, who's so much younger than you, to sleep with you. Did that happen? No. Thank you. That's all you got to say. Instead, Chow was just like, who knows what's going on?
I don't kiss and tell.
He had the affect on way over the top of a schoolboy who just had his first kiss and is madly in love. And that's what you wanted us to think. Just like you said about Mensa. Yeah, I know it's a lie, but it's a lie that I want people to believe so they can just believe it. You wanted that to be open. And it's very telling because there are moments that come up which are really great where Kate starts to say some real stuff about John, and he's immediately, all right, stop the tape, turn it off, turn it off. And he just keeps talking over it. He doesn't want it
Rob!
to be heard.
Rob!
We got very good, thank you. And he just won't stop. You hear it. This is very enjoyable. John, you don't need to be on camera, you just need to exist.
That is true. Also, John, I don't care how hot the chick is you hooked up with, I will not smell your finger. No, thank you.
So this is the first one the guy sent me, right? This is the 12-minute one?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the first one. So, yeah, this is when they first meet. And whoever this fucking guy is brilliant. So, go ahead, play.
All right. Well, again, this is both callers were on a one-party cassette line. So this
wait a second. A one-party cassette line? Hold on, I gotta hear that.
Single.
Wait, where were these people?
A one-party cassette line. So
close enough.
It's like a party line.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking too.
Anything where it's illegal. So just so you know. All right.
Okay. From the top. Give me.
Where is this recording going? Where is
no recording.
Okay, so right out of the gate, it sounds like complete garbage.
Yes.
And I knew it would. When John was explaining that he was recording it with his phone off his computer, then uploading it and doing all this, I'm like, oh, this is going to sound like shit. And it did, which is hilarious. But also, if you were listening closely just now, you might have picked up on the fact that Kate, the first thing she asks is, where is this going to be played? She knows she's being recorded, which changes everything, in my opinion. Like the reason why the John tapes are so fascinating is because he didn't think he was being recorded. He thought he was flirting with a girl that he liked. That's what makes that interesting.
We just need you to tell us what you would tell me about it.
This is clearly being recorded.
All right, so she knows it's being recorded, which changes everything. And then as they're playing this, everyone in the chat's going, Rob, this sucks. This audio sucks. We can't hear anything.
The audio is real low. People are complaining. Maybe I could try playing it from my phone and doing it on there. But Final Boss said Kate texted me back already. Do you guys want to know? I don't know.
No, here's the thing.
Yes, Kate texted you back. That's an ongoing news story that we're have going on right now. Like, yes, what? They just ignore that, and then John masterfully blames Rob for the audio sucking.
Yeah, the audio's low, but I think you could. Can you make it louder? I would have thought that you would have done
I
that.
turned the volume up all the way on the YouTube and on my soundboard. I'm going to try it from my phone now. Let's see if that'll work. Let's see. Right. Let me see, because I have a separate
You
soundboard.
can still hear it. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's,
Yeah. I'm going to try it real quick.
As long as you can see the pictures.
Yeah, it sounds terrible. You can barely hear it. You can barely make it out. And this was Rob. He was promoting this early in the day. This was his big show, his big get. He couldn't wait to do this. He didn't test the levels or test his equipment or figure out how to boost the audio. Like, you could run that through a piece of software and boost up all the levels before you play it. There's other things he could have done too that I want to get into, because right out of the gate, we're listening to this conversation and no one understands why it's interesting. And everyone in the chat is like, this is boring. What are we doing?
People are saying, this is boring. Yeah, you'd rather hear the same shit on Shuli's channel where you pay and you grift for weeks at a time, but we play it all at once and it's boring. Get a life, sir.
don't worry, it gets really good.
See, this is the thing that these two retards don't understand. Don't play us every second of this boring conversation. Pick out the parts that are interesting and play those for us, and provide your analysis or whatever you want to say, context around it. But these guys are just like, no, this is how you run a professional show. You just play every second of it, even though a lot of it is nonsense.
Even though the first 5 seconds of it completely negate everything you're trying to convince us is happening. Why wouldn't you just cut that off? It makes no sense.
That's how bad they are at this. And John had to edit this. You know, it'd be one thing if he just forwarded the files. Rob's just like, okay, here we go, hit play. John edited this and didn't leave anything out. Didn't think like, I should probably trim this part right here. This is
Boost the audio.
Boost the audio. And you could do this shit in YouTube too. Once you upload it to YouTube, you can go in and trim things and edit the video. And that never occurred to them. They don't realize why their show sucks compared to other shows, is because other shows actually edit together a package and then play that so people hear the most important parts of what they're showing them.
He went out of his way to explain to us many times how he had to sit through the chore of listening to these in full multiple times. And he knows there is things on there he does not want to get out. So why would you send that to Rob?
It's hilarious. So you're right. I didn't even think about that. Where he just goes, oh my gosh, Rob, I had to listen to this whole thing. That's like how they started this. I'm just like, well, then why would I want to listen to it if you didn't like it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're the one excited about it. I'm not. Weird.
It's the same way he can't just say somebody said something rude about me or they were rude about me. He has to say she called me an extraterrestrial midget.
Yes.
Well, now it's funny when you say it like that. I would have had sympathy if
really
you just think he's picking on you. You know, if there's stuff, if Carl, I'm not going to send you a clip that has things where they talk bad about me that I hope don't get on the air. I wouldn't send you that clip and just fingers crossed this all works out.
Yeah, but you know who would do that is Cardiff Electric. What's up, Cardiff?
Never. Hello.
How's it going, buddy?
Good. I don't have a lot of time. Going live at 8. So let's wrap this up.
All right, Dabbleverse.tv. Is that where we find you at 8 o'clock?
Yeah, we're watching Chad and KB from today.
Oh, God, that was so fun. I'll be tuned into that. Cardiff, that was amazing today.
It was the best. Sorry, it's been taken down because of copyright strikes, not because of embarrassment.
Right.
That's what he's claiming, copyright strikes.
Mm-hmm.
But we got it.
Nice.
Yay.
Well, speaking of Atlantic City, guess who else is going to be in Atlantic City?
Yes, I am coming to AC, by the way.
Are you coming to AC? All right.
Yes, I am, and I have a lot of people that I can't wait to see.
All right. Well, good. We have a room for you in AC.
No. Someone contacted me, is getting my hotel and flight and is paying me, so I shall be there.
Right. I'll see you there. So somebody set me up a room. I'm outside of Atlantic City, but someone set me up a room in Atlantic City as well. So
and it's gonna be fun seeing Pinky and Baby Fatso. I can't wait.
Okay. Now I'm calling bullshit on all of this.
Yeah.
I think there's no way John shows up in Atlantic City.
And who bought Rob Saul a room?
Well, I know the answer to that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's a short guy with shitty hair.
Yeah.
Decided to
He
do that.
didn't say how far outside of Atlantic City it was, but he said it was outside of it.
No, he's outside of Atlantic City, but I think he's staying right at the Borgata.
Oh, okay.
Because I think the short guy who's like lost without John is trying to find a new end. And so he's like, oh, Rob Saul. All right, I can latch onto this guy and try to make things happen.
Oh, the extraterrestrial midget.
That's the one. Yes. The other one. So I'm calling it right now. There's no way John will be in Atlantic City. If he is, then Aaron Imholte can call me a liar. And so can Chad Zumock. Because I don't think there's any way in hell John shows up there. But if he does, he just made a pretty overt threat to both Kevin Brennan and Chad Zumock. He just let it be known that he's coming after them. When will this end? How old do these assholes have to be for them to stop talking about getting into these confrontations?
They'll be fighting at Brennan's funeral.
Retirement wasn't supposed to be like this.
No, definitely not. All right, this is the clip that sums up this entire show for me. So what we're going to see here, and I sped it up because it's very boring, but Rob is drinking during the show and other things people are speculating on. We can get into that. And he's just fidgeting with his phone and drinking and letting this audio play.
And then I was like, holy shit, the first thing that shows up is this Keanu cast, and I'm talking about having my fucking ass fucked, which never even happened.
No.
Never happened.
Rob,
Like, you know, it's like I tried it one time, like nothing even really happened, like it's not like a regular thing that I do. I was just, she's like an OnlyFans girl, and like she was talking about sex things, and like I was like recently introduced to the podcasting world, and like I said something stupid. And then I had gone on MLC, so she, so hated me for going on MLC. And so I asked her to release the podcast. She thought it was just Kevin Brennan, but it was really just like having to do with like somebody I was dating. He said he wanted to see that because like I actually thought maybe like I could like have a relationship with this guy. And
That's
like,
not slow motion. That's how he drinks his beer.
guy would want to be in a relationship.
That's a regular speed.
That, like, you know what I'm talking about.
Oof. Rob's doing an important show for him. He brags about how many viewers are there when he starts the show. And he can't be bothered to stop texting with people on his phone. And he's looking around, he's grabbing his drink and chugging that down. Like if the host isn't focused, why should I be focused? If you don't give a fuck.
Well, the meth helps.
Well, this is him getting up and leaving. And I fast forward to this too. A lot of time goes by and then he comes back and he's got himself some treats.
It was like he put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
And like he dressed up and like
he can't sit there for a 2-hour show.
He just put Karen with it. And like the first day, even like he put Karen. It's not like he
We're 2:20 into this episode, and no one has got up and walked away yet. And if they did, there's other people here.
No, I'm gonna live.
Well, just like my convenience boyfriend. No, like your mother.
What's my name? I don't know. What do you shows? Or
No, he's like Tina.
Oh, he's like,
Like, yeah. And like I
Right.
dated
So he's back
him
with
when I
another
was
beer?
22.
He's
And, like,
chewing
I
on
fell
something.
hard
He's got a big mouthful of something.
Hard. Like I love that man with my entire
And then listen to
heart.
this.
Like I would have done anything for him. Like I loved him.
Like anal.
And he broke my heart.
So what about? I hate that. I
So lost. And he left me at
I didn't enhance that audio. His nasal passages sounded very stuffed up all of a sudden, which is odd. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he has a cold. It is very chilly in the Northeast right now. It's very possible he just has a cold or something. But he was gone a long time. Comes back with a beer. He's eating something. Like, bro, this is an evening show. This is your big show you're doing. Why do you need to get up and do this?
Yeah, you dressed up for it. Come on, man.
Right. Imagine if Freddie Mercury just like walked off the stage and got a hoagie.
He had all these notes. What's up with the notes?
What happened to the notes? He's kind of abandoned that part of it. So now that's about an hour and 40 minutes in that we're seeing that. And it's only about a 2 hour and 10 minute long episode. Rob is wasted.
It's nuts. I don't understand why this person would trust the shitware so much.
Well, nobody should. But now, what time are we at now?
We are at
time for another beer.
36:18.
Here we go. So
stuff like that.
What?
Yeah, this is where she is in love with murderers. which is bizarre. And by the way, Rob, let me tell you this. When I was on the treadmill at my gym in New York, she calls me ecstatically to read Scott Peterson's letter to her. And he refers to her as Katie. And I'm like, first of all, why do I care? Second of all, you're a lunatic. Who the fuck, Rob? Who the fuck? Who the fuck is pen paling with a fucking murderer?
Pen paling.
So Rob is actively passing out at this point. He's leaned back in his chair. His eyes are half closed. His head's falling down.
I have to be completely honest. This isn't that far off from the producer Chris I met at the Creep Off roast.
How dare you?
Spot on.
And the interesting part of what John is saying there, I mean, I clipped this to look at Rob actively passing out, but John is talking about how when him and Kate were flirting back in December before their meetup, Kate was talking about getting these letters from Scott Peterson. And remember, John claimed that they fell in love. He was in love with her. And now he's going back and going, can you believe what a lunatic she is? She's writing letters. She's pen paling with this murderer who was on death row. It's like, well, which is it, John? Because I thought you were in love with her during this time.
That was just one night.
But now, because she wronged him, now it's all revenge talk.
It's all his trolls. It's all his haters, all his trolls, his whole life. He loves you until he can't get what he wants from you anymore.
Oh, Rob was supposed to be on the show today. This is something I wanted to point out to him. It drives me fucking crazy. This AI background that he has, where there's this 12-string guitar, where the neck is a ghost neck that magically...
No, I have one of those.
Yeah, you've never seen one of those, Carl?
Yeah, you don't have a ghost neck?
I don't. I don't know how to play one of those.
A loser.
Okay, so even John is taking notice that Rob is not doing well.
What the fuck is wrong with this chick?
Yeah.
Are you okay, Rob? You seem like you're fading.
It's nuts. I know. I'm agreeing with you. That's all.
That's all.
That's all. He's just like, oh, hey, John, is that you? Hey, what's up?
When'd you get here?
This is so embarrassing. I can't stress this enough. This was Rob's big show. All he had to do was not do what he normally does every night. Act like he's got his shit together for this 2 hours.
Well, you think that's why we got the Rob we got? He couldn't handle the pressure?
Maybe. This is him totally nodding off. And while he's nodding off, listen to what Kate is saying, because this is part of what you were saying, Adam. I don't think John wanted this to get out.
Now serving life without parole, but he's doing another appeal, and so he might be getting a new trial.
Do you believe that he's innocent? No. Give me the recording answer. The recording answer. That'd be no.
I guess my gut is saying no. I mean, like, I like to question it. My gut says
No.
he's not.
What about John Melendez? Do you think he's guilty?
I think John Melendez is worse. So basically, Shuli and I were like, wouldn't it be great if we could get Scott Peterson to call John a monster?
So that's the thing with Shuli is that John puts your shit out there, but Shuli don't.
Shuli, I can try.
So do you hear that? She go, do you think Scott Peterson's guilty? She goes, I think John Melendez is worse. And then he's like, what about Shuli? And she goes, Shuli, I can trust. Yeah. All of that was said while Rob is blackout drunk.
He doesn't know where he is.
And you don't get that way from just drinking those beers he was drinking.
No.
It's whatever's out of the room.
Yeah. And so Rob's big beef with me, and the reason why he was going after me hard is because I was suggesting that maybe he was mixing pills and alcohol. Now, it turns out the other people who are doing that is every single person in his chat last night. I was watching his chat, and every single person was saying, holy shit, Rob is taking something. You've seen people like this before.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good.
No. His eyes are shutting themselves.
Yes.
I feel like both of them don't understand. The Dabbleverse is not pulled from Eton College. The Dabbleverse is primarily, I'm just going to say, populated with people that have some sort of experience in what's happening right now to Rob Saul. I know I do, and I know what drunk looks like. and I know what drunk doesn't look like, or I know what drunk and something else looks like. And that was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. If anybody's just listening, you have to watch when Rob slowly sinks back into whatever he just sniffed or inhaled when he left the room, because you don't get to see things like this in real time in a safe environment very often. This is a man like decomposing right in front of you. He is no longer present while trying to host a show that he doesn't care enough about to even turn off the clicking sound from his texting phone.
But he had a book full of notes.
If you are listening to the podcast, we will put this up on our YouTube page. It's definitely worth checking this out. And Vito's Cradle even says, so Rob is pulling an Ethan Ralph. Not since some Ethan Ralph or even Nick Rekieta videos have I seen someone this fucked up on their live stream.
It's why the Dabbleverse is so great, because the only other place to find stuff like this is like very serious Oscar-winning documentaries. Like there's the one about the Lemonheads where the guy is a heroin addict and he takes you underneath the stage and he kind of does it in real time. And I'd never seen somebody do all of that in real time and have it hit his eyes and then him to just not be present while still being interviewed. It's haunting, but he's also a rock star being interviewed at his show that he just played, not during the show he's currently hosting. That is insane. People wouldn't believe it if you told them.
So this is the last clip I have of this. And this, then you got to get over to dabbleverse.tv. Although we are playing a game though before you do that. This is John explaining like, we're probably done here, right?
If I were you, I would just wait and play the rest because it gets better. This is where she throws Emma, her friend's mother, under the bus and said she just got out of rehab. But I got to go because I'm going to go get something to eat.
All right, man.
All right. Are you okay, man? You seem like you're getting a little tired.
Nah, I am. I'm ready to go to bed, but
I would save the rest. If I were you, I'd save the rest for tomorrow. When you're,
I will save the rest.
Yeah. Anyway, brother, I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, John.
Okay. He started out the show by saying, I'm not like, surely I'm not going to like grift. I have this stuff. I'm not going to like grift and do multiple episodes with it. And then it ends with, all right, we'll get back to this. There's other stuff that's really interesting. And I like that he's like throwing someone under the bus I've never heard of and no one knows. Like, John doesn't understand what makes his calls with Kate interesting.
Yeah, not Emma, not the mom of the girl that knows Kate. Nobody cares.
We don't care about that stuff. Rob could not keep his shit together last night.
Oh, and he did say Emma in rehab, like just to dox one of her friends real quickly on my way out before I go.
Yeah. You won't believe about the rehab. Like he's gossiping like anyone gives a shit. Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody cares about the Kate Meanie tapes because nobody cares about Kate Meanie.
Or Emma.
Especially Emma.
And it shows you what a good friend he is. He's like, you should probably do this again tomorrow. And by you, I mean, I'll just do it instead of you. Bye.
Yeah. And that's what ended up happening, right?
But breaking news, John is back fully reading super chats.
Oh shit! Is he on screen too?
Not on screen. No, just the avatar. But he is getting a taste. He's wetting his beak in the super chats again.
I'll say that's a good thing because last time when he was gone for a long time, his channel got demonetized. I remember he had that big problem trying to get it monetized again. So if your channel goes dormant for too long, I think YouTube takes away your monetization.
Yeah,
so
90 days.
Yeah, so smart that John's getting on there and doing something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a good move. All right, well, sounds like John's back in the Dabbleverse. Cardiff, can you hang out and play a game or do you got to go?
Let's play a game. I want to see your faces when you lose.
All right, well, in that case, let's get Annie in here.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello, Annie. And we do have
Good to see everyone.
We do have some super tips and super chats to get caught up on. I'll do that right after we get into this. Another round of 2 minutes with Tom. I am enjoying this one.
This is a fascinating game.
It is a fascinating game.
It's hard.
It's a hard one. It's a hard game. Who said it's the hardest game ever? But this is certainly a difficult one.
It's time for everyone's favorite new game show. 2 minutes with Tom. What did Tom say next?
Welcome back. Our next comedian has been on this program a number of times, and he's back with us again tonight. He travels all over the country, as well as appearing on films and television shows. Please welcome back my friend Tom Myers, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, man?
All right. All right, everybody, good to be here. I'm here in Montgomery County, of course, home of the speed camera. Yeah. My God. I actually love speed cameras. I do. Because it's a great way, because when an actual police officer pulls you over, what does a ticket cost? Like $150, $200? You get one of those little speed citations in the mail, $40. I love it.
That's a short setup for him.
What did Tom say next? Here are your choices. Number 1, I get a little picture of me driving my car for my online dating profile. B, it's like getting pulled over by Sam's Club. Next, I can drive 2 times as fast and still save money. 4, it's like getting a Christmas card. And lastly, I can try to beat my high score, like Pac-Man.
Okay. My initial analysis on this is that it's 4, because 4 is the least funny one, and Cardiff actually has some pretty good punchlines in here. I don't think the Tom would come up with.
I was trying to make him bad.
I hear you. What do you think, Adam Busch? TV's Adam Busch?
Well, intellectually, I feel like it has to be lastly, because there's 2 unnecessary bad punchlines there. To beat my high score, hold for laughter. Like Pac-Man, hold for laughter. None of it being funny. But I don't know, next just feels right. I can drive 2 times fast and still save money.
Okay, a math joke is what you're going for.
I think it fits the same formula, too.
A little bit, yeah.
Annie, what do you think?
I think it's number 1. I get a little picture of me driving for my dating profile.
Yeah, that did sound plausible. What do you think, producer Chris?
I also went 1.
All right. I seem to be in the minority on this one. Let's find out.
2 minutes with Tom Myers.
When an actual police officer pulls you over, what does a ticket cost? Like $150, $200? You get one of those little speed citations in the mail, $40. I love it. It's like getting pulled over by Sam's Club.
Oh, nobody. I mean,
not everybody
Cardiff.
shares the same sentiment that I do.
I love that they had an audience reaction shot on there.
Yeah.
What an incredible video.
Oh, fuck
I don't
off.
even get it.
It's a
There was
discount.
something really special in this clip, Cardiff. I got to see something I've never seen before, which was Tom walking in the wild.
Yeah.
Him walking up to this, aggressively taking up a lot of space. It looked like he was holding something very important and fragile, and it was just one of those little half bottles of water.
Yep.
Tiny ones. Tukey said it last night. He's like, we don't want to see Rob talking about Kate's tapes. We want to see him in the wild. We want to see him on the jitney. That's what I want to see with Tom. I just want to see him at the supermarket. I would pay a lot of money to see that.
Oh my gosh. We used to have on the Real Consequences on the Creep Off. We have to travel to Tom's restaurant that he's the host at in Baltimore. That'd be amazing to see him working like a regular job. Because he's so autistic. I don't know how he'd interact with people. It'd be amazing to watch.
I want to see what the other, waiters and waitresses think of him and how their eyes roll when he walks away and the looks they give each other when he's telling people things that are going on. Yeah.
There is something very interesting about this clip. If you go back to Tom, and I want you to pause it, and I need to set something up for you. No, like anywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tom.
What does a ticket cost?
Tom
Like
is in his 20s here.
Holy shit. That's how old this is?
Yes.
Wow.
This is him in his 20s.
Holy.
His hair doesn't look any different.
No. That's crazy. Most people just abandon the trying to have hair thing.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah. You're just like,
we wear
I don't have
baseball
hair.
caps.
Yeah.
And it's funny when you're a little kid and when you're really old are the only times where you're really wearing like an ill-fitting suit like that. Like here, he looks like he's in his grandfather's suit, or he's a grandfather in a suit.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. It's
Or he
not a
just
man
lost
in his
80
20s.
pounds.
Yeah, like yesterday.
You get one of those little speed citations in the mail, $40. I love it. It's like getting pulled over by Sam's Club.
And what 20-year-olds are making
Not
jokes
everybody
about
shares the same
Costco
sentiment.
and speeding? I'm sorry. Like, who is this material for?
Boom.
This is life.
He's bringing the boom.
Sorry.
As always, this material is for Tom and Tom only.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cameras. Like, a lot of friends think it's too much government overreach, and when they talk about government overreach, they always bring out the comparison of the Hitler. You know, oh, I tell you what, today it's speed cameras, tomorrow it's turning into Nazi Germany. Like I've watched a lot of documentaries on the History Channel. All the stuff I've seen about Hitler, nothing about speed cameras, all right?
Yeah.
And even if there were, small in comparison to everything else he did, you know, I think we should give him credit.
Brought to you by Hackamania.com. Promo code COME. Get your tickets now with promo code COME before the price of tickets go up. Because if I know that hunchback and grifter, grifting hunchbacker, sit, Eugene, sit. Good dog. Dabbleverse.tv. Go there now. Galaga. Good night.
All right. Bye, Cardiff. Thanks, buddy.
Bye.
If I had thought that through a little bit more, he already established in his setup that you're not actually getting pulled over. You're
Yep.
getting this in the mail. And then he says it's like getting pulled over by Sam's Club.
Mm.
Total Tomism.
You're right.
Damn it.
I know. I feel stupid too because I picked one that had nothing to do with money. Like the whole setup was about money, and I'm a fucking idiot. All right, let's see what the supertip.gg/WATP has to say about this.
Fuck you, Carl. Who here has never drank 2 beers and then acted like they were smacked out on opiates? Leave my bitch Saul's name out, y'all move. Also, can we get Saul added to the voice tips?
Yeah, we can work on that. It's a good call.
Can I point something out, Carl?
Yeah.
He got on the air today, Rob, to explain away his behavior from yesterday.
He did?
got on the air
I didn't
first
know that.
thing in the morning, and he was on there for like an hour talking
shit.
about how he had 4 beers and 4 beers only last night, but they were 11% alcohol, and so he lost control. And that's all he wanted to say. That and pretty much any criticism people had in his chat, he had to explain while they were wrong, including people that repeatedly claimed he was eating animal jizz from a jar. So he went on the air to get the jar.
I'm sorry, what?
And show you that it wasn't animal
Does this
jizz,
label say animal jizz on it?
which is like a 6-year-old and a 13-year-old older brother who like makes fun of the 6-year-old, and then 10 hours later, the 6-year-old's like, it wasn't animal jizz, it's chapstick, you loser. And everyone's like, what are you even talking about? No one
Mom,
remembers
he's saying
this.
I'm eating animal jizz again.
Share with your brother. He had a whole story that he was up at 5 a.m. and the 11% alcohol totally did him in. And he always gets up at 5 a.m. That's why he's up at 5 a.m. today. He walked the dogs quickly, and then he got on the air to do damage control because he knows what happened last night. It's really, really, you don't do damage control for something that didn't happen. And you certainly don't give every excuse in the book to explain away behavior that fellow adults recognize.
Yeah, the sad part about that, obviously, and I didn't want to get too many downers on this episode, but you would hope that enough people would reach out and he'd recognize that he's got an issue and maybe try to correct that. But the fact that he went on and tried to make excuses for it first thing in the morning tells me that he's learned nothing from this.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of these guys think they can explain things away and that it's going to work.
Why would you drink 4 11-ounce or 11% beers?
What kind of beer is that?
The case.
Like Duvel or something.
Yeah.
He had a name for it. I can't. All his beers have names, weird specific names that I've never heard of.
Yeah, it's called Discount Bin.
I guess so.
Please, I need your money so I can keep buying these women's shirts and jerseys that are way too small. And no, I absolutely don't wear them to make myself look buff as fuck.
Becky Monster is revealing what's really going on with our buddy Aaron Imholte. All right. Let's see. We played that one. We did that one. Deb, $2
Vito's
says,
Gaia's Cradle. That was a good username.
What is it?
Yeah, what is it?
Vito's Gaia's Cradle. On The Biggest Problem, Vito got a Gaia's Cradle signed by the author of that magic card, and he didn't get on the scale, so Dick burnt it live, and it's like one of 300 of that card that exist.
Okay. I did hear about that. I don't know anything about magic or magic cards, so that was over my head. Thank you. Deb says, why is he wearing his aunt's pajamas? Well, she slept over that night. So
Yeah.
that's what he grabbed.
Duh.
Dame Taft, great show, kids. I'll watch tomorrow. Yes, it'll be there. Don't you worry. Chaos Queen. Last year, if you bought a ticket, you got a reserved table up front. Everyone else got whatever was left or were standing. I guess Chaos Queen is watching the show a little behind, but thank you for that information. They're going to have a lot more issues this year. I hope the show happens for you guys. Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast, $5. To be fair to Kate, Scott Peterson was a better father than John was.
He wasn't late on his payments.
Read this to me again. This name?
Vito's Gaia's Cradle.
Gaia's. Hey, Rob, these tapes contain some really bad stuff, and if we're ever to get out, it could ruin my life. Would you play it on your show? He's amazing. Rob has ADHD, causing him constantly seek stimuli. Yes. Yeah, he can't just sit there and focus on what he's doing. He's constantly like looking around. Rumple Trenchcoat again, $5 says, I've never seen an audience non-reaction shot before. Yeah, that was unique to our buddy Tom Myers.
It's great because there were like 20 people in that audience, 10 on one side, 10 on the other, and the audience reaction was the 10 all not laughing on one side.
Yes.
And they still couldn't pack the room.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to get to some recent reviews. Do we have any, Annie?
Yeah, I got two for us.
Okay, so we're gonna read a couple of reviews, and we tell people to give us 5 stars wherever you review podcasts. We appreciate that. But then you can shit all over us in the comment section, which is fun. It confuses people and it's fun to read. But then we try to figure out if these people actually don't like us or if they like us when Annie reads the review.
The first one today comes in from Panzer23UC on January 24th. Time to update my review, which, by the way, you can do. If you left a review in the past, go update your review.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
The Carl universe continues to provide an outstanding level of banal content. Producer Chris is the only bright spot left in this dead galaxy. I pray that his soul can sustain the continued mental and emotional abuse and giant cans afflicted upon him by the club-footed capuchin.
I'm going to guess that's a 5-star review.
That's a 5-star review.
Nice.
And
Thank you.
that's
I like that you can go back and do that again. It probably helps the algorithm, which I'm told is important.
Yeah, formerly it said, fuck producer Chris.
Well, you've grown on him.
The next one comes in from 123-90777 on January 19th. Great.
Very good. Man, a few words. Thought I could get a sip of my beer during that one, but I was wrong. So that would be a 5-star?
That one is 5 stars.
Excellent.
We did it this week.
Yay. Yes, we do appreciate that. Thank you for helping people find the show by spreading the word, telling a friend, rating us on the internet, commenting on videos, liking videos, sharing videos, subscribing to our YouTube channel, hitting notifications so that you know when we're live. Speaking of which, this Sunday...
If you want to subscribe to me, you can go to insanity.com. I have everything that I do on there. All my plugs, all my links, everything. Go to insanity.com. INSANNEITY.
Nice. I was going to give you a chance to plug, but is that a new site?
So I'm sorry. I
no
actually
worries.
have to step out. My friend's here and my dinner's here. So thank you all for having me. Great seeing you, Adam. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Andy. Well
I wanted
done.
her to have a Clearwater Chad moment right there, where she thought she was off, but she wasn't.
that was
I
well
had to
done.
fight.
She snuck her.
I had to fight to get my plugs in. I think I did all right. I think I did all right. Am I still on?
She made up the second review. It didn't just say great.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's why she said it twice.
There's 3 paragraphs. Well, what I was going to say, before I was so rudely interrupted by our review girl, is this Sunday, why you want to have notifications on, this Sunday, there will be a special during the Super Bowl halftime show on our channel that you can tune in for and watch during that dumb halftime show. Tune into us because Christian and Eric from Who Are These Broadcasters have put together a show for us. I actually recorded a segment for it today, And I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It's a cameo from Stuttering John that no one's ever seen.
Awesome.
And Shuli was on with us too.
All right.
To react to that. So that's worth checking out on Super Bowl Sunday at halftime. Watch for that on our channel. All right, let's listen to some voicemails, and then we'll sneak out of here.
What's up, Carl? It's normal talking John. John, this has been said before, but John is like making me rethink my my drinking. Like I don't drink that much, but like he makes me want to like just quit. And then I listen to you, and mainly you, not Chris, but mainly you. And I also want to quit. So thank you, fuck you, bye. Also, proof of life of Croge, please tell him hi, band practice. Also, I miss Boomer. Bye.
All right, will do. We saw Croge last night at band practice.
Indeed.
We sure know. Is he here now? Glad we can help people stop drinking. No problem at all.
Hey, Carl. This is just a reminder that Chad Zumock is not interesting. You seem to have forgotten, so I guess we got to remind you maybe every 2 years or so. He's not interesting at all. He's really boring. Stop talking about him. And then I have a message for Adam Busch. Adam, the reason why you don't dream and why you don't get a good night's sleep while eating gummies is because THC blocks the production of melatonin. And when you supplement melatonin, that's why you're dreaming, because you're finally getting the melatonin that you need. So stop taking gummies before bed. Love you. Goodbye.
All right.
You dumb fuck. Don't tell me how to run my show.
So I've taken gummies that have both THC and melatonin in them.
Yeah.
What's that do? Just fucking they fight each other in my brain all night?
Explains a lot.
He's absolutely right about THC and dreams. It's true.
Oh, okay. Now we know. Oh, someone's calling me out for being an idiot. Remember last week we talked about antinatalism on this show? Yeah. Apparently I brought up a very dumb thing.
But your cringe of the week this week, Carl. I didn't really know what antinatalism was. You can kind of figure it out from the name. It's against babies. And then you had to figure out if that's any different than nihilism. Antinatalism versus nihilism. Carl, did you ever see The Big Lebowski? There were literally nihilists in that, and they said that we believe in nothing, Lebowski. It's right there. There's no moral truth. There's no nothing. There's no true anything. You're a fucking idiot. Please call me back. You never call me back.
All right. Well, maybe that's why, because you called me an idiot and stuff. But thank you for schooling me on that. I thought it would be a similar thing. I was wrong. I was way off, apparently.
Or maybe he's a nihilist and he just doesn't care.
Hey, it's Sergio from Providence. You were talking about the Magic Mind product. The promo code is Jan, and I just got to ask, who the fuck is Jan? What does she have to do with WATP? Love the show, Carl. Keep kicking ass. Sorry about the Bills. Cheers.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was the month of January was the promotional offer we were talking about. The Great Sea Moose.
Ahoy, hoy. Great Sea Moose here. Hey, Boner Guy. I do not appreciate you completely dismissing Chris's testimony about my very normal balls. The other thing I also do not appreciate is that of course I know the real name of my future ex-wife. Like, I'm not giving out, paywalled information from the Patreon like you are to all these, freeloaders.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I do not care how, your doctor says that you've got such a big, meaty, girthy, veiny, throbbing, what was I talking about?
Yeah.
Probably, hi, Chris. You're great. I miss Kindy. And also, I was probably going to say Carl's a cunt. Call me back.
Miss Kindy? Who misses Kindy? What's that all about? A lot of rivalries happening within our voicemailers, Adam.
Is anybody going to check on Seamoose? Or are we just going to let that? Because cries for help come in many different forms.
He'll be
One of them.
fine. We'll
right.
probably see him in Vegas again. Looking forward to it. Boner guy calling in.
Go Bills. Hey, Carl, I've been getting into Weezer. They've got some good songs, haven't they? But aside from that, I've been listening, what is it with Stuttering John still making vague threats of violence, even on his cameos? And obviously Rob Saul swinging back and forth and being so rude, particularly about the gorgeous Jenny Jingles.
Mm-hmm.
What's with these homies dissing your girl? Why do they got a front? Well, I think we should all just vote for Carl at thecreepoff.com.
Agreed. Vote for Carl at thecreepoff.com. I don't remember my creep this week, but I bet I brought it. I bet I was good. Gary in San Diego calling in.
Hey, Carl, I got to hand it to you. You're a marketing genius. Last week I called in about John doing cameos in cars, drinking beer. And once you heard it, you tweaked it. You fine-tuned it. You said, no, it should be cameos in cars, drinking Coors. I'm like, oh, my God, that's brilliant. Anyway, I'm thinking once Jerry hears that with the new twist, drinking beer, he's going to tap John drinking Coors, he's going to tap John to be his opening act of Caesars at $10,000 a week. That'll lead up to John and Jerry teaming up to write a new series. Just like Jerry did with Larry David, John could be his new writing partner about some whacked out buffoon in Cape Coral who does nothing but yell about his grievances all day, 365 days a year. I could see that as a series based on Stuttering John. Rock and rolla.
John should be a cartoon if you're going to create a show about John, because people wouldn't believe it otherwise.
Do you remember Spitting Image? They did that. Yeah. Land of Confusion video. It was a BBC thing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The puppet that Lockie he made.
Yes.
Very, very close to that. But that kind of show about John, I feel like would be really great. All the characters in his life as those Spitting Image puppets. That could be something.
That's so great that Adam brought that up, because I had to show my daughter the first Land of Confusion, and then I'm like, and then it became a TV show that lasted about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And this guy made a puppet, and it looks like it could be from Spitting Image, so completely.
Oh, by the way, Judy, Gary's wife, agrees.
Hey, hon, that Carl is so smart. I just love comedians in cars drinking Coors. Why didn't you think of that?
Carl owned a marketing company. He's just too smart for me. He's geniosity. Rock and rolla.
I think I read it in the chat. But thank you, Judy and Gary. I appreciate it, guys. You're the best. This guy is calling into Shuli's show, apparently.
Hey, Shuli, KT here. Listen, I really think it's time that we take Carl down. He's getting a little too smug with those big chompers and those club feet. I really think, that since he's stolen your bit and, is kind of jealous of your success, that, it's time to get him. So let's box him. Let's give Stuttering John phone number.
Oh, God damn it. Is this what's going on? I don't like people taking sides like that. Paco calling into the show.
Hey.
We'll see him in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up, Carl? This is Paco. Just chilling and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Listening to the show. It's a good show. It's a great show. It's probably my favorite podcast, that I've ever heard. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know, man, that you're doing good.
Thanks, man.
You're doing great, bro.
Appreciate it.
And I don't like that you try to, when you watching Kevin Brennan and Chad Zumock, and I don't like that you feel like you got to explain to these fucking levas why the fuck, you're doing what you do. They just don't understand, bro. But, yeah, I get it. It's a good show still. It's still a very good show. Shout out to Kroger. I miss him so much. I just wish I could hear him on another show. Shout out to Kroger, man.
You should have him on your show, Paco.
Yeah.
He likes talking music. He'd probably come out and do that. I should probably go back on Paco's show again soon. It's been a little while. we broke down the Primus Brown album on his show.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hey, just wanted to let you know that I tried an espresso martini the other night for first time and was on a date night with my wife. It was after she sucked my dick and gave me a great blowjob where it came in her mouth. And we went out to dinner, had the espresso martini, went back to our house and had a lot of sex.
Okay.
Because we were both drunk and caffeinated, which was great. And just want to let you know that I'm a fan. I endorse them. Also, quite a while ago, I gave my wife a preview of your show. And her only review really was, I don't like that guy's voice, referring specifically to you, Carl. So there you go.
So wait, this guy just called in to brag about getting sex with his wife, and then he insulted me at the end?
That's the long and short of it, yeah.
Huh. It's not what this voice line is for, sir.
It is a specific fetish.
You're not using that correctly.
You know, it's funny. If you listen to the Stuttering Sex Pest YouTube clips, you can hear Carl's voice starting, you know, he speaks very calmly, but you can hear the progression of how angry John makes you to the point where it just breaks one day and just has stayed there ever since in this permanent, like, outrage that we all feel because we all went through the same journey together.
The fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, that's the stuff.
It's so true. If you listen back to the first couple seasons of WATP,
Yeah.
Very much calmer demeanor back then.
It was more ponderous then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if John or any of these people were actual comics, they would pull this and show that the way we can show how John has morphed into this, you know, space dwarf.
Episode 600 coming up, guys. Let me know how much I suck. At episode 600, we're going to be doing a little review of WATP.
How about a spitting image Carl puppet?
Oh no.
Yeah, catching up on the last couple programs, you get a great program with Adam Busch.
Agreed.
Wonderful program. But then we get Vinny Orson Welles Polino. I mean, that is what it is. But then during both of these programs, we're subjected to fucking bloody ass again. Twice in a row. If you want to pepper it in once in a while, that's fine. But we got to get it twice? Let me explain something. Bloody ass cannot suck enough. It's annoying. It's repetitive. It fucking sucks. And the next time it's played, you're the one that's going to be responsible for a toddler being put through a fish tank. Fuck off.
All right. I guess that guy doesn't enjoy bloody ass. You know, there was a while we were getting all these different versions of that song. I don't know what I do with them on the board, but I was just looking to see if I could find the metal version or something. But that's a great song. I don't know what you're talking about.
You'd think he would have a little sympathy.
Yeah. Guy's got a bloody ass over here. Adam, what can we help you promote, my friend?
You can help me promote Who Are These Podcasts next Wednesday if you'll have me here. I'm having such a blast. I would love to come back next Wednesday and tie up a lot of these loose ends that we have left dangling here in all of these wars, relationships, and loves.
Awesome. Yes, you will be here again on Wednesday. Blind Mike's going to be on this Saturday.
Awesome.
I believe Lucy Tightbox will be dropping by.
Very nice.
So we'll have a great program. And we'll see you again next week, Adam. Thanks so much, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
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 Are we done here? I think we are.
I gotta go. Goodbye. Goodbye.
I don't know. Who gives a shit? Why am I even still doing this? I'm out of here.
Man, that was a good episode.
That was a good episode.
I enjoyed that.
Okay, bye.